A jiggy calypso. It's the vibes. Ha. Whoa. Look the press. Ha. Show them how the thing go. Look the price, look the price. Life harder than concrete nail. We can't tell we head from tail. Everything is a Bobby show. Public institutions fail. System moving just like snails. But they treating we like we slow. But today we change any trend. Tell them don't do it that. The longest rope of an end. My friend, don't do it that. We flipping the script. Or no have we under duress. If you're servicing a mess, then it's better you look to press. Ha. And if price is rising and your product quality getting less, look to press. I say look to press. And every time we leave your place, we need a blood pressure test. Look to press. I say look to press. Ha. Say less, we don't mobilize. Say less, to cut all we time. We are the best. Anything else, look to press. What's up? I me say what's up? What's up? Politician pulling stunts when them on a voting hunt. And there's always a Bobby show. A lie. Some doing what they want till we ain't no back from front. Endless advantage for so. So when they promise the world, tell them don't do it that. Not all that glitters is gold, so don't do it that. If government is a money grab to leave we in a mess. Save yourself the stress of the election and look to press. Ha. And if you can't handle the criminals living we in distress, look to press. I say look to press. And every decision you make under 1% BS, look to press. I say look to press. Say less, we don't mobilize. Say less, to stop all the lies. Here we arrest, stop the nonsense and look to press. Boss out, I'm say tell them boss out. Look to press. Before you get us out. Look to press. Evil and bad man. Look to press. Look to press. Look to press. I'm say tell them boss out. Look to press. We patience run out. Look to press. Today we draw the line. Look to press. Look to press. Look to press. All liars and thieves. Look to press. Corrupted police. Look to press. All against peace. Look to press. Look to press. Look to press. The friend of me them. Look to press. All the heathen. Look to press. The PDD men. Look to press. Look to press. Look to press. And if price is rising and your product quality getting less, look to press. I say look to press. And every decision you make under 1% BS, look to press. I say look to press. Say less, we don't mobilize.
This is TTT News on Talk City 91.
Good morning. This is your TTT News update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has warned that her government cannot support CARICOM's push for full and free movement at this time, noting the severe strain caused by tens of thousands of illegal immigrants. Speaking at CARICOM's 50th Heads of Government meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis, she said TNT's public services, finances, and national security remain under unprecedented pressure. She stressed that Trinidad and Tobago supports the principle of free movement, but the reality on the ground demands caution.
Committed to full and free movement. I know several CARICOM islands are moving forward with that. But in Trinidad and Tobago, again, illegal migration is a big problem. It has been left to flourish not just in TNT but elsewhere. Currently, Trinbagonian taxpayers, we pay the bills for the tens of thousands of illegal migrants who have come into our country. It has put an enormous strain on our health services, government services, financial resources, and we are working diligently to resolve this illegal immigration crisis that we have. Again,
She reinforced that Trinidad and Tobago is not rejecting free movement permanently, but cannot approve it while illegal migration remains uncontrolled.
Venezuela is just 7 miles away from us, and we're going through right now to try to identify and do a registration exercise, because there are thousands of them who are a drain on the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. So at this time, I will say with the greatest respect, Prime Minister Drew, Trinidad and Tobago, we are fully committed in principle to the full and free movement, but we have to deal with the thousands of illegal ones I already have in my country. So I will say, not at this time, but we agree in principle to full and free movement.
Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Eliza Kaur, has confirmed that the Blue Wave Harmony is in the final stages of its sea trials, with completion anticipated by the end of February 2026, subject to the successful conclusion of all required safety and operational inspections. Responding to a question on behalf of the acting Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jerlene John, in the Senate on Tuesday, the minister confirmed that a regularized sailing program, including the Blue Wave Harmony, will be published on Friday.
25th, 2026, as part of the final evaluation stage, after which the vessel is expected to transition into full commercial and passenger operations. A regularized sailing program is being prepared, and consistent with established practice, the schedule will be published this Friday, providing at least 1 week of confirmed sailings at a time.
While acting Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Jerlene John, made a final check of the Blue Wave Harmony again on Monday night before it departed for Tobago. The minister reaffirmed her commitment to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure reliable and efficient seabird service.
All right, the sand is going, the bricks are going, gravel going, right? Everything is going. All right, Tobago business is good business. All right, so these people opening their mouth and bringing their stuff. If there's a shortage, it means that it needs more suppliers in Tobago.
The MV Blue Wave Harmony docked at the port of Scarborough, Tobago, on schedule at approximately 7:10 on Tuesday morning. And now on to some sport. West Indies women are looking to bounce back from two close defeats when they take on Sri Lanka in the third and final CG United One-Day International at the National Cricket Stadium in Grenada. Veteran all-rounder Stephanie Taylor says the team's batting has been the main area of concern heading into the series finale. She points out that while batters have been getting starts, they have not been able to see the innings through, something the coaching staff has been emphasizing, particularly for the top five.
I think more in the batting. We had starts from batters, just never really get to finish the game. And I know coach always say, like, once you get a start, especially the top five batters, if you do get a start, you try and, finish the game.
And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Vermala Bakaran. Good morning, my good friend Vermala.
Hey, Carrie. Morning. How are you today?
I'm good today. I had a little bit of an adventure yesterday, and another one planned for today too.
Yeah, I saw that, and I really don't know how you do it. And you have so much energy as well.
I mean, like, it's a fun part of the job.
I think you're powered by the greasy pies.
Well, I haven't had the greasy pies in a little bit, to be honest, but
Maybe that's where the energy is coming from, the lack of greasy pies. Well, Carrie, just some really sad news in the wildlife area. I don't know if you saw the story, but an ocelot was actually shot in the forested area.
I saw that.
Yeah,
very upsetting.
And that is extremely, extremely heartbreaking. And I believe, and I was looking at the report, and I saw the vet was saying that he was probably shot by a 9mm. So it doesn't seem like it was by any hunter or for any hunting
shell
reason.
or anything like that. The thing is, first of all, the animal is endangered. Shouldn't be hunting it or shooting it in any case. And the next thing is that, okay, so you're not a hunter. You have a 9mm weapon, using it on an endangered animal. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully we can find whoever's the culprit. Did you know that the violations involving the protected species, the fine is, I think, $100,000 and up to 2 years imprisonment. So that's definitely something.
Up to $100,000 and 2 years in prison or more.
Exactly, and
Because
I think we need to
it's just
remember that our
wickedness.
forests are home to species and they must be safeguarded. So that's really sad news this morning, but hopefully we're gonna change that someday.
Well, yeah, one day at a time, and when all of us come together to address the issue.
Well, Carrie, early on in the newscast, you spoke about that address by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Today, we'll be unpacking a lot of those themes and much more inside Trinidad and Tobago today.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is still hope. When the weight feels heavy and the night feels long, remember, your story isn't over. God's promises are still true. His love is still strong. And your breakthrough...
That was City News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Bang, 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 bang.
Some almost sell she out, but steadfast till the end. Has to stand a friend. This land, La Trinity, has been so good to me. Now 50 years of age, she has reached that.
Bang, 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 bang.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
The ground report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The ground report. The ground report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
We must make the government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place.
You must develop a sense of self-reliance. You must develop a sense of confidence. And you must know and remember that parliamentarians are your servants and that you are the lords of the land. And so I ask you to put your hand on your heart, every one of you, and shout after me, I am the government. Louder, I am the government. I am the government.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Listen.
Why are you turned into wine? Open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you.
There's no one like you.
The
talking about. Let me take some praise.
Into the darkness you shine. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you. Oh Lord, none like you.
Bang, 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 bang.
Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer. Awesome in power. Our God. Our God.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Must a pleasant good morning to those of you that look on to us on Talk City 91.1 FM. Good morning to each and every one of you. Must say a pleasant good morning to all maxi taxi drivers, PH drivers, bus drivers, truckers, to the driving public, yes. Good morning to you.
Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer.
Good morning to the hundreds of you that already lock on to us on social media. On our various social media platforms. Get us at Talk City 919 FM on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter. Good morning to all who look on to us on Talk City. Not forgetting those of you that look on to us on a Real Media TT on Facebook, Real Media TT on YouTube, Corridor Transformation on YouTube. Workers, no. 648 Television. That's serving them a pleasant good morning to you. Or you can get us at the on the Ground Report, on YouTube. Yes.
And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us,
Lopino in the house,
can stand against. And if our God is for us, then who could ever?
Elema acknowledge Ann Moon Sami.
If our God is with us,
Azad Khan, a pleasant good morning to you. Ann Moon Sami there on YouTube. Azad on Facebook, good morning. That's my name, so Facebook, good morning. Carmen on Facebook, a pleasant good morning to you. Pringala Mohan. YouTube, good morning to you. Trini Nairo, good morning. Bujram John, good morning. Pearl Daniel Singh, good morning. Dave Maraj, a pleasant good morning to you. Rajendra Maraj, good morning to you. Jamelia Khan, good morning. Ashmir, good morning to you. Wendy and John, good morning. Hey, Primrose Bajnat, good morning. Anthony Ford, good morning to you. Michael Scotland, good morning. Ricky Ramota, pleasant good morning. Philip Fatboy, good morning, my brother. Hey, Peter Samlal Singh, good morning. Kevin, your Brady Brunch, man, good morning to you all. Hey, not forgetting my baby, a pleasant good morning to my baby. Teacher Balmain. Video in Vancouver. My real partner, Ravi, aka Postman.com. Kafika, his daughter. Hey, father always look on. I demand that find me. Sud, Aria, pleasant good morning to you. Hey, Pamela Palu, good morning, Elvis.
Open the eyes.
Yes, Elvis, good morning. Hey, Donna, I must have pleasant good morning to all Donnas, including Donna Gockins. Good morning to you.
Into the darkness you shine.
Hey, Marilyn Sitaran, a pleasant good morning to you. Ross, good morning to you.
Ashes we rise. There's no one.
Hey, Cyril. Rup Chan Singh, a pleasant good morning to you. Hey, Durat Mohan, good morning. Monica, pleasant good morning. Eleanor, you like this husky voice, eh? And Eleanor, you love this voice. Then this husky voice, say, Eleanor, it's not husky right now, eh? Pleasant good morning to you, Eleanor. Afrina Mohammed, a pleasant good morning to you. Jacqueline Sami, a pleasant good morning. Joyce Ram, good morning. Krishna, good morning. Elizabeth, good morning. Mubarak Mohammed, good morning, my brother. Hey, Jillian John, good morning.
Out of the ashes we
Dress School, good morning to you. Carmen, all of you. Dave Maharaj, good morning. Don Harilal, how are you going, my brother? Freddie Brown, oh my God.
Our God is greater. Our God is strong.
Hey, Joanny Jagroup, good morning.
You are higher than any other.
Hey, Tara, all Taras, a pleasant good morning to you all. Zebran Gandhi, good morning. Lawrence.
Our God.
Hey, Chanja Benjamin, a pleasant good morning to you.
Our God is stronger.
Yeah, all Taras, a pleasant good morning. Angela. Lochan, good morning. Maria Kalicharan, a pleasant good morning to you. Lucy. Lucy, Lucy, I make a coffee for your man yet? Or your husband? That kind of name they say, you're a woman with that kind of name, you know. Lucy, gotta get my cup of tea, please. Lucy, Sarah Bacon, what this morning? Pumpkin choker? Gloria Escala, pleasant good morning to you. I'm girl like you of us, me hour.
And if our God is
Samantha, good morning.
what can stand against?
Ravi Nanan, good morning. You hear the speech by the Prime Minister? She was bold faced enough to say, can I come allow one of our citizens to be kidnapped? Oh God, she got there. She said, I support America. She said, what time I talk about Cuba? Cuba need change, and I support America and Cuba too. She said, remember they were sing a song, name Haiti, free Haiti. The boy, she said the gangs take over Haiti. Oh God, she make a big speech, boy. She come out like a mere motley day.
Our God is greater. Our God is stronger.
Hey Richardson Das, good morning.
Higher than any other. Our God is here.
Hey Caladine Passard,
Awesome in
morning lock and from New York, out there in New York, Caladine, good morning.
our God.
Hey Sita. Sita is the next one, you know. This girl early, Sita. Sita, girl, come and rub my foot there for me, Sita. Yeah, when you get old, you grow old with Sita, they should rub the foot, the back, everything. Denise, how you going, my Ghanese friend? What's up? I find you ain't selling no voice, no to know. I like to hear your voice, your accent. What go on there? They go, Martin, where's that guy? Oh, Heinz the veins there, he fixed the sewer water in the road there that you out cheering and everybody are walking through there, girl. You ain't complaining again like Heinz P&M the veins like he treating you good now. I feel you turn to the P&M down there now because you stop calling ground report, girl. What is? Oh, I think I can say that. I can't say that. All I can say is with this. Oh.
Bang, 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 bang.
I think I can say with the scout, eh? With the scout,
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Yeah, she right. Let me try to say it like she. I tell her send your voice, no to know. Right, Denise. She said, morning to all. Lock honor from Bagatelle. They go Martin. West in the house, Andy. The street got worse.
Into the dark.
Big stink place. They go Martin West. What's think about Hans?
There's no one.
Hans, what's think about Hans? I try, but you had to send the voice note, man. What to you? Ravi is a wicked man, you know. Well, I mean, this speech was not a good speech. Ravi, why you like that? Ravi said that was not a good speech, Andy. Nah, man, Ravi, boy, you like to get trouble. Well, that way, you must have a wife there. On your she ain't get no breakfast, no make, no salad, nothing for you, boy. Yeah, she had a protest against you. You wicked man. You can't find the good out of nothing, boy. You must be able in life to find good out of something. Oh my God! And when the next trap he come on here, she read. This read woman or man. Never see a pity as she yet. Hey Monica, you're laughing, girl. Why laugh at the girl? You laugh at the accent there. You feel like you talk the Ghanese language. Where is scout you talking about, girl? Hey Brian, a pleasant good morning to you. Freddie Brown, all of you. Yeah, Primrod say Ravi, no. Listen up, leave Kamala Prasad, leave Kamala alone right now, okay? Alright, so I will check to see who sent the first voice notes. I have voice notes to play back from yesterday to y'all. So I will start with the voice notes from yesterday. But I would like to know what's on your front burner. Well, the front burner at this point in time is our Prime Minister attend and carry historically the Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Fali August at the 50th anniversary was setting of CARICOM. And she delivered a remarkable, mind-blowing speech before first trying to be a comedian. Like myself, I'm a very serious person, but I tried to put a smile on your face now and again. So first she tried to be a comedian. She gave... I didn't know she had actually lived in Barbados too. She mentioned she had lived in Jamaica and in Barbados. She says her son born Barbados. And well, she in Trinidad and Tobago. She let everybody know it's not a own piece. Everybody... She really talk good. She talk good. She talk about the kidnapping and all those various things. For those of you who did not know, you know, so it was really, really mind blowing. It was I believe it was a very, very, very good speech. She warned about the closeness and this one supporting that sister party and that sister party through the CARICOM, and then you know some parties will be in opposition, and then eventually will end up in government. And how could you have cooperation between somebody that you fight to that extent and now they're in government and you know, we're always opposite now. Like how plenty of CARICOM that support Rowley was bringing down Kamala Prasad Bissessa and expect her to be nice. That's like Ralph Gonzalez, and look where he is now. Openly support Rowley, attack the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago viciously. Let's say now he did end up being elected back the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it would have a kind of hostileness within them there. Because of the political bantering, it would have bruises. So that type of politics started to interfere with CARICOM. It started to interfere with CARICOM so bad, Trinidad and Tobago, into my understanding, by the Honorable Prime Minister. Yeah, to my understanding. That's what I would say is to my understanding. Right? If that is how you understand it, you go let me know too now. Right? You go let me know. I want this right now. This is what I want. 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 Yeah.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Let me say a pleasant good morning to all my drivers again. Whether it be my maxi taxi drivers, my taxi drivers, my PH drivers, my bus drivers, my truckers. Let me get a horn the truckers. And to all my passengers that have afforded the opportunity through to your drivers and them listening to the #1 program and yours truly, the pitbull of radio, Andy Williams, in which I am a real bad dog when it comes into your business, the people business. Yeah. Even if it's UNC, they're getting bite too. Yeah. So long as they're nonsense. But I must say that the speech of the Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago was on par, on point, fearless, historic. She was hoping to say that a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago was kidnapped. And up to this day, no one is held responsible or accountable. She was open to say that she supports Donald Trump. How can you come and Trinidad and Tobago is not a zone of peace? For many of those other countries don't feel we're not so close to Venezuela. She was also bold to say that the politics of every sovereign individual nation start to affect CARICOM heads and leaders, because one day you'll be in opposition, next day you'll be in government. When you're in opposition, you're not there. It's only prime ministers, premiers, governors, them guys who running them little countries now, is who will be there. Opposition don't. But while the rest of opposition and the rest of all these countries would not be there, one day they will be, because they will move from opposition to government. That is what Kamala Prasad-Bissessar was trying to say. And then with all that political bantering among each other, how do you all expect to work together after you all interfere with each other politics and openly criticize the doing of a prime minister? That is exactly what St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Rav Gonzalez, was doing. She had nothing to do with it. When Senator Anil Roberts bust the mark that his wife and his children obtained HDC apartments. And that started a war of words. Let me say today, Rav Gonzalez would have been the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, still let me say. That relationship would have been so strained because he openly supported Rowley. Where CARICOM would have been going from there? The relationship damage. She also let the CARICOM leaders, yes, she also let CARICOM leaders know. Yes, my colleague is in studio. We're just finishing this editorial here. She also let CARICOM leaders know. How could you all be so hypocritical? Nasty! I paint it down different. Lennox will put on, say all of that, but not so vulgar. Let me ask him what he will say before I continue my editorial. Because she put it down nice, like how Lennox Smith will do. Let me say a pleasant good morning to Lennox Smith. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, my friend. Of course, you have been very graphic. Yes, you have been very colloquial as well. But the fact is that she made about 4 points that would have resonated with most of them in the room there. In fact, you left out Roosevelt Skerritt, who was here and said to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, give Rowley a chance. Remember that? After, of course, he benefited from the so-called war against crime with respect to identifying or creating a scenario where crime will be, of course, a public health issue. Remember that, and of course, it cost us about $3 million. So they say we are yet to calculate the benefits to be derived. But certainly, she was on point by that. She was on point with respect to Cuba, how it is that you are demanding free and fair elections for yourself, but not that of Cuba. Yes, that is a fact. And of course, where were the chorus of unison or unity when both Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago was vitriolically attacked by Venezuela? Where were they? And then, of course, she came up with the rear by indicating that each country have a duty and responsibility to treat with their own situation under the concept of independence and national sovereignty, and a commitment to, of course, secure their respective populations. And CARICOM is not an arrangement where security, or you have a supreme organization to manage. In other words, it's not a confederation as St. Kitts Nevis is. And all of that was part and parcel of it. I saw the video, and many of the leaders were a bit pensive. You see some of them referring to their cell phones, which gives a story in itself, as people hoping that their names will not be called, but she was prudent enough and diplomatic enough not to call any names, except of course to speak generally. But of course, those of us who are conscious and those who were in the room and were engaged in such what I consider to be unhealthy democratic and island to island or government to government relations deficit, certainly would have known themselves. Of course, the Jamaican Prime Minister, I think, was partially and in the main, of course, very objective as he would have liked to be. But of course, on the question of Jamaica, he was not that specific as Kamala Persad-Bissessar was, and frank and brutal that Cuba has to be addressed, because she asked the question again, how many of them would have liked to live under that condition in Cuba as the dictatorship and the communist regime continue, of course, to dominate and to retrograde, or put another way, cause Cuba to be in a state of total and absolute economic and social shambolism. Yeah. Nice. And that is where I take off from what she would have said, frankly, to the CARICOM heads of state in person. Some believe that she would not have been there. Some people were in trepidation. But of course, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis said, well, he welcomed that because since 10 years, it's 10 years since so many or all of CARICOM leaders did not assemble. And of course, is a sort of resetting the stage for new and renewed relations as they navigate, of course, the turbulent waters of geopolitics, local politics, and hemispheric politics. Of course, the Americans inserting themselves as the hegemony that they are.
Nice. So, Trinidad and Tobago, just the headliners in the 1% papers. Who vexed loss? As Kamala Persad-Bissessar gave a very serious speech there at CARICOM. She also strongly defends Trinidad and Tobago's support of United States actions against Venezuela. Yes, that's all there. She also bashed them dealing with interfering in regional elections.
Well, of course, we have to go for a break.
Yeah, I know that.
Sorry about that.
I know that. I know that.
And when we come back more on this edition of the Ground Report.
Just now, I know that. Oh boy! And finally, before we go for that break, there. I know that already, man. You didn't get it there. She also sharply criticized the Secretariat over the non-response to the Brent Thomas kidnapping. That is a serious woman.
That's different issue, yes.
That is a very serious woman.
Right.
So now we're going to go for a break and come back. When we come back, more right here on the Ground Report. Yes, the lines will be open immediately too. Go ahead, Director Snipes.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice. Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Digicel. Vibes get done, data get done, minutes get done, speed get done. Digicel is the real #1. Switch and done, hurry up and come cause while you're waiting. Everybody online speeding, full bars to the top, yeah we leading. Digicel have it luck and you need to switch. Now is the right time to come in or sign up online. Digicel is one of a kind. Make up your mind and make the switch today. For 30 days you don't even have to pay. Keep that same phone number, don't worry, we've got you. With Digicel, the vibes got on no way. But you have to switch today.
Switch to the bigger, better network. Digicel, better together.
Where is the fire? The fire in my people. Where is the fire? Oh God.
Swordfish and pigtail remain a feature of many meals today. Have you ever wondered why?
Before the commencement of the European transatlantic slave trade, Africans were undoubtedly among the physically strongest and healthiest humans on this planet. Even today, hypertension is rare among West Africans. One of the biggest reasons for this, and it remains, of course, is their foodways or cuisine and their knowledge and use of medicinal herbs. They had an abundance of proteins and micronutrients from a wide array of beans and peas, grains, fruits.
This isn't just radio. This is your voice, your city, your platform. Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
This is Destra. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it loud.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, we are back. Time check, it's exactly 20 minutes to the hour to 7 o'clock, and you're listening and viewing the Ground Report. So what we're going to do now is we're going to organize and just play some of those voice notes. Say quick. Oh boy, that already was here. So I will play today's one time.
Good morning, Andy. Let me take this time to congratulate Prime Minister Kamala on her speech at the CARICOM conference meeting in St. Kitts. Yesterday, she showed her strength and stood her ground against the other countries with their zone of peace nonsense. Prime Minister Kamala has my full support and respect. I have instructed Marco Rubio to hold talks with her for more goodies that will soon be on the way for the people of TNT. So expect good things in the future, Andy. The 2 OFAC license was just the beginning. Have a great day, Andy. And let's be safe out there today, friends.
Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, Nigel, and to everybody out there. Andy, I want to begin by quoting first one verse of Maya Angelou's poetry. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but like air, I will rise. That's right, Andy, I will rise. And this day, Wednesday, the 25th of February, I would like to thank Granny. Thank you, Granny, for standing in the gap with me, right? You know, Mike, you always have a saying that friends walk in when everybody else walks out. You were a friend that walked in, and I thank you for that. Because you see, we have too many coward people out there. We have too many people suffering from situational ethics and sanctimonious hypocrisy. They do things to suit themselves. But you know what? It was an eye-opener for me. And I will know now who to walk in with and who to step out with. Sorry, who to step out on. Thank you again, Granny. Before I leave, I want to thank Mrs. Prasad Bissessa for that hearing speech at the CARICOM meeting. I know she shocked them because they probably thought, no, they probably didn't think that she would have raised all those issues. And especially with the secretary, with one of the secretaries, when she wrote her since the 2024, no, before that, with the Brent Thomas issue. And she reminded her, you never replied to me. Let us hear all the naysayers now. Let us hear it. And one more thing before I leave, Andy. I felt ashamed yesterday of Diane Haddad. Andy, I want to say good for you and Lennox. Or you had no right to call her because she was just making excuses. I remembered when the Sea Bridge collapsed and you all called her and was talking to her. She made a lot of excuses for the PNM. And yesterday, she did the same thing with that slur that she used. She reminded all you what everybody else was saying about her, right? But didn't address the issue. She see nothing wrong in the slur that she used. And I will say again, all you look for that. All you have to know sometimes when to, but you see, anyway, let's leave it there. But all you will know next time. All you will know next time. Leave her right there. Don't ask her opinion on anything because it's bias. Thanks a lot, Andy, and have a great day.
Good morning, Andy.
Consiglio ci do qua di morning me sta cu. No ma come po sa kanga te kanta ku chi. Po heba ku no. Ani hai la se ta ki me te na hai la.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello. Yes, she said that the gong report should be grounded.
And right, so the Haddad said the gong report should be grounded. Many people said Rowley said that too. Right, and what? So because Donna, the Haddad woman said that what? What? The man.
What Santa Cruz said is not doing interview that woman racial.
Man, we interview whoever we want to interview. We don't know cowards. Haddad is a trained big onion, first and foremost. And at the end of the day, we wanted her side. And we get it.
Yeah, and that's right. We achieved our objective. In fact, she was apologetic during the course of her presentation when she thought that we were going to, of course, be venomous. So she started preemptively, and I left her. I could have intervened, but I left her because I realized that she was on the offensive because she thought that we were going to attack her on the statement that she would have made. And then, of course, when I got a chance to talk, I eventually said to her that thank you for confirming to us what we have experienced as far as the various past interviews with you would have meted out or would have brought out of you. And that is essentially that the statement was not one nestled in any racial or other overtones, but it is Goddard in her natural flight. She is forthright, she is bombastic, she is straightforward, and she says it as it is. And that is what we wanted to get out of her. And we got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly where we run into is exactly where we wanted.
So she had to apologize. She apologized to us because I did, of course, in a nice way tell her, well, listen, you were preemptive, meaning that I was a bit aggressive there. But of course, I gave her a piece of her own medicine simply because she preempted what we wanted to ask and therefore was wrong. And so she did, during the course of the thing, said, apologize for the or thank you for the position that you would have taken, etc., etc. But all we wanted was to find out whether or not that was a choice statement to generate or to imply some racial undertone. That's all we wanted, and we cut off the interview there. So I am not in any way feel that we did not achieve our objective. There are those who may be of that view because they have a particular position and they probably saw what she said or understand what she said consistent with what they perceived her to be or what based on what she said and what was, of course, in the public space.
Exactly.
So I am not.
We achieve our objective. It is what it is.
Or in any way. Yeah.
That's why I come on. Hey, a pleasant Miss Haddad. Yes, it's Andy Williams here, the Pitbull, and your friend Lennox Smith. Live here, we live here, Miss Haddad. Thing and talk nice, whatever the Pitbull, and then say Lennox Smith, talk to your friend Haddad.
And she started and she went off. She said, leave me alone talk. So I tried to stop her, tell her that she to try to give her a heads up. Well, you're going down the wrong road because we didn't call you for that. If we wanted to know about the sea bridge, etc., we would have told you so, and we would have had enough time to do that. But that was not the case. But she still didn't take any heed of that direction, and she went on her tirade. And then, of course, she had to apologize afterwards, and that's how it is.
Nice.
She was presumptuous as to what we wanted to talk to her on.
Nice. So which I deems us again, and we will continue to be like that. The Fearless Ground Report.
That's right.
Bang, bang, bang.
We will continue to go where many people fear to go or fail to go.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's why, again, perfect example of the fearlessness of the Ground Report program. Listen to our fearlessness. Listen. This is how fearless we are.
I was going to the Oval one evening, and I stopped as it was drizzling, and a radio station was on. And on that radio station, which was my favorite station, but it was on in the vehicle I was in, a most vulgar and outrageous radio program was on the airwaves, called the Ground Report. You all remember that? In that report, it was the nastiest, dirty. As a matter of fact, what caught my attention was how filthy the program was on our airwaves. And I was asking myself, how could this be permitted on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago, election or no election? And it was all about me, and my father, and my mother, and this, and I had raped this, and I had done that, and the ground report. They want to know what the plan is. The plan is to put an end to this.
And the ground report is still here. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, and for the benefit of those who may not be accurate or don't have background information on this, we never spoke about Rowley's parents and so on. That is part of his shenanigans. That is part of his deception. He would have brought that in to try to gain sympathy. Just as how he claimed that somebody wanted to kill him in Tobago and so on, and looking for sympathy, as was the case when, of course, he said that he did not know that Marlene McDonald would have been charged, and all those episodes of deception that we were able to bring to the fore over time. But we never mentioned his mother or father. We talked about him and his licentious or salacious activities when he was in Tobago and joined, of course, the teaching service. And for me, as a pedagogue myself, as a teacher, I felt that that was not just evil, not just egregious, but of course very unbecoming of someone who would have been in charge of guiding the future direction of Trinidad and Tobago via, of course, the teaching fraternity.
Nice. So let's continue with those calls. Don't forget, unless Snipes, anything before? Or? Go ahead, my brother, then. Go ahead. We will continue after this break.
Before the lights flash, before the crowd comes alive, before TNT feels the moment, this is where culture breathes. Sneak peek with Junior K. Hey, we're going deeper than events, taking you inside the soul of TNT. From music, fashion, food, and the tradition to creativity, community, and real conversations. Catch Sneak Peek daily on TTT and anytime on our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K. It's where our culture comes to life before the spotlight.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Every morning begins with a story. The headlines you need. The voices you trust. The conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you. Conversations that spark new ideas. Stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
Tune in to the Holy Trinity Cathedral program on Talk City 91.1 FM every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Mark your calendar. It's a great way to stay connected with the spiritual reflections, uplifting messages, and community updates right here with us on Talk City 91.1 FM.
It's Destra. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
Nice. We are back. It's 5 minutes to the hour here, Trinidad and Tobago. It's 5 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock. Very good. And you're listening and viewing the Ground Report right here on Talk City 91.1 FM. Let me just finish off these voice notes.
Good morning to the Ground Report. Good morning. And I want to agree with Ms. Santa Cruz this morning, because in the world today, especially in the African continent right now, that woman would have been chastised for even making that statement where you see Africa is uniting itself at a rapid pace right now, and you still have this thing in your head to be saying in the West over here. You understand? According to Ms. Santa Cruz. It's good for all you calling she for. Don't bother with them, boy. All the program bigger than she, boy. Just move forward. There are real issues to deal with. It's them who put the policies in place in the PNM, against African people. It's that ethnic group of people did that to us. It's they keep us to the bottom of the economic ladder and telling Harry P and them telling me the careful way. It's them do that. And of course you should call and defend and look, boy, it's good for all yesterday.
Morning to the ground report. Boy, that woman yesterday, boy, she know what's going on in the world today. She knows she can't make them kind of statement right now with the unity that's taking place in Africa with African people right now in the African continent. She only operating so because she knows she in the West over here. We had also take she to task by those other.
Nice. Time check. It's at 3 minutes to the hour to 7 o'clock. Again, it's not that woman or their ethnic group. I, the Pitbull, will tell you all that. That have African people in Trinidad and Tobago, where we are today. It's the PNM who have the support of African people, empower them. So it's we own African people through the PNM. That is a so-called African party. It's who empower the people right now. That you all are bashing rightfully too. The ground report bashing her. All the callers. We don't have a problem with that. But my problem is, and all supposed to know the Pitbull. Don't ever call the Pitbull to tell the Pitbull who to call, who not to call, who to interview, or who not to interview. At the end of the day, Dana Haddad is a Trinidad and Tobagonian. She bash for she cotton statement from everybody, majority people. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
And Andy, it must be said that we were armed with our information, as I read, of course, it's part of it from to Snipes yesterday before he had, well, after he had made a certain statement. But I want to say this now in terms of summary. In contemporary usage, cotton picking mind is primarily understood as a colorful way to say someone is acting irrational or foolishly. However, awareness of its historical and racial context, which of course is where they were going, is important, as the phrase originates from a period of slavery and exploitation in the American South. It is often used in informal speech, but may be considered offensive in sensitive context. So
Understood.
we were able to give both sides, in other words, of the story. That in contemporary time, meaning that in present times, in existential times, the phrase is used, but it's not used from a racial perspective. However, it originated from that, and that is what people are more sensitive to, and therefore, if I was her, I would not have used that statement because it would have triggered, of course, some sensitivity, as in fact Simple. It did. But to say that she herself may not be conscious. Oh, you're going to news. Sorry. Yeah, she herself may not have been conscious.
TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa has called out Caribbean CARICOM leaders for failing to stand in solidarity with Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago after facing threats from neighboring Venezuela in 2025. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the 50th regular meeting of CARICOM in St. Kitts and Nevis on Tuesday evening, she criticized CARICOM nations, noting that despite repeated threats to both nations from Venezuela, there was no voice from the Caribbean.
So how can it be when that regime was threatening violence to 2 CARICOM member states, there was no voice from the CARICOM? We were talking about a zone of peace. And in my respectful view, my country is not a zone of peace, and I'll tell you why. Because of the unreliability of the CARICOM in the above situation, TNT Guyana, we cannot bind ourselves to the same political ideologies.
She said Trinidad and Tobago will continue to defend its sovereignty as it sees best, adding that many Caribbean countries do not face the same challenges.
Thanks to President Trump, thanks to Secretary Rubio, and the U.S. military. I say thank you today for standing firm against narco trafficking, human and arms smuggling originated from Venezuela. That is what we were facing in Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe some of you other islands in the Caribbean, your nations do not have that level of illegal migration and, of course, the crime. So in 2024, crime was being treated as a public health gimmick. It was dubbed a public health issue. It's not a public health issue. Because of the crime, you're not alive to get any public health. You're dead. That's what the crime is like. So don't talk to me about a zone of peace.
In other news, Minister of Finance Devendranath Tanku described Trinidad and Tobago's recent removal from the European Union's list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes as a proud moment in the nation's economic journey. Speaking in the Senate on Tuesday, Minister Tanku says the removal signals renewed international confidence in the country's financial governance framework.
Delisting strengthens Trinidad and Tobago's international standing and provides a more stable platform for business expansion, cross-border partnerships, and long-term economic growth. Decisive governance matters. When reforms are pursued with urgency, seriousness, and discipline, results follow.
Minister Tanku criticized the former administration, saying their failure to address key financial reforms left Trinidad and Tobago blacklisted for nearly a decade. He emphasized that being placed on the EU list carried significant consequences.
It hurt investor confidence. It made financial transactions with European unions and European institutions by business and financial institutions more difficult and costly. It increased due diligence requirements for domestic financial sector. It exposed us as a country to the risk of defensive measures by EU member states, and it damaged this country's international reputation.
On February 17, 2026, the Council of the European Union formally confirmed Trinidad and Tobago's removal from the list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes. And in some sport now, a contingent of Trinidad and Tobago cyclists made a triumphant return from the Pan American Track Cycling Championships in Chile, where they secured an impressive 6-medal haul, 3 gold and 3 bronze. TTT News caught up with Nicholas Paul, who reflected on his outstanding performance at the championships. Paul captured gold in both the men's sprint and keirin finals and added a bronze medal in the men's team sprint, contributing significantly to TNT's successful campaign.
Firstly, I'll say thanks to God, because without him none of this would be possible. I mean, the team worked hard building up into the Pan American Championships, and to go out there and perform as well as we did, I think it was a great effort for the whole team. Well, I mean, the Pan American Championships is always a hard games for us. I mean, it was challenging coming up against Colombia, Venezuela, and all of those guys. So I think it was a good effort on behalf of myself and the team as well.
That was your TTT News update. After the break, we return to Trinidad and Tobago today.
That was TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
This is about creating opportunity through responsible management and citizen participation in national wealth. We are targeting US $3 billion in new investment within the next few years in energy, in construction, in tourism, and the digital economy.
Music.
It's reconstruction time in Trinidad, so put your shoulder to the wheel, man, lad, move on, don't stop till you reach the top. You put a hand and I put a hand and we will sing. For big and for small in no time at all, prosperity. There's no other way to do it. Show your patriotic spirit, unity. Somehow, if Trinidad ever needed you, it's now.
Culture.
The budget has goodies and some not so goodies, but that is because fairness requires that everyone plays their part.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
This is Destra. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it loud.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
I want to make two things clear. And I don't want to talk about that no more. The Ground Reporter no way regret calling Miss Haddad. And the reasons we called was based on the cotton picking issue. The part that has slavery in it, if that is the part that she more strongly and grounded on. And we get what we wanted. Next thing. Nobody could tell me or convince I, Andy Williams, that the 1% what's made up of the people who have and want all, that them take anything from black people or Indian people or anybody. Them never take nothing from we. We hand them everything on a platter. The same 1% that all of we is referring to, that is the richest in Trinidad and Tobago. How they reach there? Who helped them get there? The black PNM government. How much they own they make? Millionaires. And why it is they don't agree with the UNC being in power? You know why? Because their threat is not we African. Because we are done buy, bought, and handed on a platter from the PNM to them. But they're fearful of the East Indians. That is who they're afraid. But the East Indians is their competition. And the East Indians also share in the economical wealth of the country. And when the Black Party PNM in power, they just feed the 1% and they just feed the big rich Indians too. And I don't see no way black people, so they don't sell me, ever sell me, that them people take nothing from we. It was handed to them by we own. Slavery. Plenty of them ships, they just went on land and just take black people just so. Well, it was we own black people with the various tribes. Catching and tricking we own black people and selling them off. This tribe go and snatch black people from that tribe. That tribe go snatch from the next one. The stronger tribe will then ship them close to the sea to be sold as slave. Oh. And who do that? We own black people. So don't sell me nobody, take nothing from we. We hand the PNM and the PNM hand everybody but we.
Bang, 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 bang.
Now let's continue as we move on. Yes, Lennox Smith, what else we have in those headliners there? Well, we don't know, and we don't beat that like a road match. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her magnificent speech at CARICOM. What else you have there for us on the
before,
headliners?
before I take another point that is headline oriented, I want to commend you for that. If you want to call it editorial, you want to call it a commentary, I think it was splendid because it put things in perspective. We have been saying that over and over, that the efforts of the PNM now and in office are one and the same. The mama guide the people during the period when they are out of office, and while it's in office, take no steps to really ameliorate and to improve and to advance. But, however, focus on the 1%. And the 1% here is not a particular ethnic group, but a group of individuals who believe, as the PNM have supported it, that they have the right to occupy the 80% of the private wealth in Trinidad and Tobago, facilitated, of course, by a PNM administration, leaving out, of course, the African community by and large, even though there are sprinkles of Africans that would have gravitated to the level of being part of the 1%. Let's get that clear.
Nice.
That being as it may, yes, we have some other issues that we need to treat with. Alexander says, well, of course, the footage that people get when there is some kind of criminal activity, give it to the police first before anything else. I think that is something that I think is unfair. If you want to put it on social media, because the police may have a different view, a different take of the same incident, then of course I think pictures speaks 1,000 words, so to speak.
And I disagree with him with that.
That's the most objective way of assessing a particular situation, as opposed to a biased and self-serving approach, where, of course, the police can, whichever way, and in their own interest, twist a particular incident or situation. So I disagree with him there.
And I agree with you, Lennox Smith. I totally disagree with the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, on that there. Yeah. And not only that, it is people's choice too, if they want to give camera evidence from their place to the police. Because again, just like the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa spoke yesterday there, only the individual will know the area they're living in, and based on what, if they can do that or not, because they will have to assess their life and livelihood, and if threats could come in their direction after, because they'll get tapped with them minions out there, or you put me up, or they the house, or you get them footage, and then you're going home, bam, 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 bullet. So that is a very risky thing too. And people have to weigh the options on that.
Again, go to the top of the class, because that only happened. I had that experience on New Year's Day, when, of course, one of our colleagues lost his life because he was assumed to be very close to the law enforcement agencies, and has demonstrated that in more ways than one. And next thing you know, in spite of cautions and in spite of advice and admonition, he continued in that vein. And today, I think, I don't want to sound harsh, but he's no use to anybody where he is today, when he ought to have been alive and making sure that he contributes to the transformation and the attitudinal change that is required, having regard to the gun-toting and the crime and criminality and the gangs and the 7s and the 6s and the 8s and so on. I think he has done us a great disservice by being where he is when he should be here, because he didn't adhere to some of the principles as you just espoused in your assessment of the situation. You are on the spot. You are on the spot.
So the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security, please allow people to do what they want at their own risk, whether they want to point out social media, whether they want to get the police first or last, or whether they don't want to get nobody at all, because again, you would not be by nobody's house when them people swing back.
24/7. You can't provide 24/7.
Swing back.
Way encouraging.
What?
Is good to say. You could talk that from the position that he holds. But in terms of practicality and pragmatism, that simply is dysfunctional in a community that wants to assist the police but cannot, because your life, limb, and your home and your family may well be in jeopardy as a consequence. And they have to understand that and talk in such a way so as to accommodate that. And so long as they don't, but of course talking as if their heads and their eyes are in the clouds, I think it will not solve anything, at least in the immediate or the short to long term.
Nice. So Chante, we're going to tell our crime situation and the detection rate go up, or let's just be cautious. Because again, nobody will be there with only a 24-0. I saw wrong by Lennox Smith them there that New Year's morning, they have camera. Who there? Wrong day. Coming from their place, going to get the police, the angle or the killing of that fella there out there by Lennox Smith and them now. Who dare to do that? Man.
and worse yet, it is well known that the elements of the law enforcement will say who gave as well. We have had that situation with that very guy who lost his life on New Year's Day. That well, let me give you the actual situation. A person was held and is in prison, but a friend of his go and threaten the same fella because a relative of his has to go as a witness. Guess what? He filmed the entire thing and sent it to the law enforcement elements. And next thing you know, the elements on the street had that same footage. Yeah. You see, so you understand what is happening there. So therefore, unless you could give a fail-safe scenario where, of course, these things would no longer be, it is not advisable to take, of course, as well-meaning and as what I consider to be perfect or the best thing to say, as far as the minister is concerned, as far as the ground is concerned and the experience, that will not be a good idea.
Nice. And Rajendra Maharaj, I'm glad we're on this topic because a very serious topic is saying there, once the networks is linked up there, would be no way to hide. Correct. All right. So let me say they also propose in the future police cameras and civilian cameras being linked up. That is a different ball game all here. Yeah, why? Everybody, including the bandit and the criminal and the shooters, will know that the police, the apparatus of the state have control. They have the actual control of everybody. Home cameras too. And it's not the individual of the home give them the evidence that it link up. So it being linked, meaning the state have its own access to the footage.
Once again, Andy, go to the top of the class, because once the elements know, you see, is about knowledge here. Once they know or they perceive that you are complicit, then of course you have put your life in danger. In other words, I could have a system, but may or may not be connected to the national grid, so to speak, where the police is in charge. But if people know and an incident take place where they depended on the footage from that particular camera, you understand where that person's life and limb and family could be in jeopardy. Let us not waste time. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is the ground report too. We have to be real. And that is some of the impediments to, of course, resolving this problem. But as I said yesterday, the ZOSO was a perfect opportunity to at least begin the process. And I want to say shame on the opposition and shame on those independent senators for, of course, scuttling that opportunity.
Nice. So let's organize and go to the next topic. I promised was to highlight something here to our gentleman. Nice. You go ahead and highlight the issue in which you have to highlight there again. Because you'll be more okura with the issue that you need to get highlighted.
He fully
Talk
ready at the end of the month. Do it the cargo ship. Oh, somebody's there.
Let's not call her. Hold on.
Somebody's there. Nah, let the caller go ahead.
Go ahead now, caller.
Andy, I beg pardon, help with my whole boy. They called me about 2 weeks ago. They got in the office. They called me about 2 weeks ago, right?
Talking to Mike, let's hear.
They never called me back. Andy, I didn't help with my whole boy.
All right, that is the situation in which I'm Akura with, because let me say again, thanks to Miss Santa Cruz that make sure that your issue was highlighted, and just so, and a lot of people or sponsors came forward to give you that help, but today you're still waiting.
Yes,
you're still waiting for that help. Okay.
I want to get a food cab, Andy, but I get a food
all right, wait, we deal with the house. We deal with the house. So you are calling on the various authorities, and including Miss the honorable Santa Cruz that are listening at this point in time, to if you could just look to see if they can get a feedback on that serious issue in which you are with the house.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. And what else now you're calling on?
But Andy, I still want to see if I get a food card by Andy boy. I want to see if I get
right, but calling on the radio to get the food card and going and apply for the food card and being qualified to get a food card, that is two different ball games.
Okay, thank you. Andy, Smith, my ticket, all have a blessed and present here. Still begging for the rest.
Yes. And I show the honorable Miss Santa Cruz, who always, again, behind the scenes, people don't know the work she does. We'll look for a follow-up on that now. That's the word I was looking for earlier on. She will try to get a follow-up on what that reached with you so far. Now let's continue Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Pitbull.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless Lennox Smith. Lennox Smith talks very good. Lennox Smith is a very highly educated and a good man, just like yourself. I want to say this morning to the gentleman who called about the food card. I want to give him a little advice too. You have to be qualified to get a food card, 70% and no disability. They just go take a food card like the PNM government and give people who will get food card and hamper. You have to be qualified. PNM government do that, not this government. Yeah, let me talk. Now, I talk what day on this program. This is a government program. And I am a UNC and Kamala is my prime minister, so I will talk. And I have nothing bad to say. Now, what I talk here, I talk on the behalf of my people, which is all here, and my government. Somebody take me, a man who can't walk the road, he take it. He send it for a man they call Slimy. Slimy send it for a man they call Walker's Right, I forget his name. Yet they put me down something day. But let me tell you something on this program. This is a government program. I could talk. I know that is. Mirage. I could go in the house. I am not like them. Time them put me. Yeah, that person send me tape for it to play. He take nothing bad and afraid nobody. Granny afraid nobody. And all I have to afraid nobody. And my government have to afraid nobody. We could pray. Right. Time them doing that. And I listen every night. My neighbor have 3 doctors. I have a grandson who's a doctor. They come and take me, let me go down, extra food. They cook and take me out veggie. I'm a strict vegetarian. Plant-based. No fish, no egg. I had a good time and they studying me. And call me done so they done forever. Done forever. Let me tell you something on this program. All you know, Granny. I have a library and in the book. I don't know who could let them. You know, a library, sorry, because PC and every was to come by me. But they're rich. And Philip was to come by me. But I am hearing him again, hearing. I have a library in the book, nobody will go by them. And I am my first thing. My grandchildren is vegetarian. My children, they don't go by here. So me I have time with them. I got playing a man sleep 11, get up 3. I independent. So who can walk the road? Send that day. And I send this again. This is a government program. I have to talk. I support the government. And I will go in Devil's house. You hear? And let me tell you something. I sending a message. I say nothing bad. Because I got a person who have time for them.
Yes, 20 seconds again, Granny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have time. The person who sent that tape there, I don't have to beg for harm. I don't have to beg for harm, pa. They will remain dons forever. They put me dons of the day because I'm talking on your behalf. And talk on my government behalf. I don't have nothing to say bad. I don't insult nobody. Nobody will stop me from talking about all your good. And nobody will stop me from talking about my government. And they will remain how they is. Because when them talking there, my doctor grandson come, Nanny Lady go on my 2 slippers. I am good. I have to beg for nothing. I am begging for harm. And that one who say it had to beg for harm and beg for things. So I good. All you go talk about me.
Thank you very much, Granny.
Yes, Sunday morning. What to send in your voice note for? The problem not getting fixed. It remain the same and it even getting worse. I can't see something like that taking over 2 years to fix. I don't care about that anymore. The people big and stink and dirty and nasty, they could live with that. It's not my property to live like that, but there is nothing I can do because that is the government road. They ain't even paving the track, much less to fix that. I don't care what going on. I don't business. I finish with that. If the Trinis don't care, why the hell I must care? I don't care what to know. It have real elections to come. That is what I know. And every vote does count. That is what I know. I ain't interested in nothing more. So I on the side, watching the ride. Hence, the Veens on the TV talking a set of nonsense. He need to come in and see what's going on in his constituency. He and Alina Wren, she blocked me because I call and I tell her she about the problem. But Andy, I don't care about none of them. I don't care about none of them.
Good morning, gentlemen. You know, I was so proud when I heard my Prime Minister making her contribution yesterday to those CARICOM people. She stood up there like a queen, like a strong woman, like how she stood up how a leader, a true leader should stand up and not be afraid to stand up in these CARICOM people's face and tell them exactly what she thought about them. When we were being threatened by these Venezuelan people, right? And they were looking to destroy us. Instead of CARICOM standing up with us and supporting us and Guyana, they turned their back on us and said we were in a zone of peace. They should be ashamed of themselves. You know exactly who people are when in your darkest hour, they stand, either they stand with you or they turn their back on you, and CARICOM turned their back on us. And she told them so yesterday. So my Prime Minister, you are a gem. You are a godsend. People don't seem to appreciate you. Trinidadians don't know what they have. But lots of us know exactly what we have in you as a leader. And we are going to pray, and we are going to support you, and we are going to do everything in our power to make sure and to ask God to give you the strength, to give you the wisdom to continue making Trinidad and Tobago the country that we want it to be. So, Madam Prime Minister, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. You are a woman of steel. Blessings.
Oh boy. So we're gonna take another break and come back to Trinidad and Tobago, but I want to ban Hayden Joseph. But the thing is, for being very disrespectful, jump high, jump low, He's very disrespectful to a lot of people, including Miss Santa Cruz. But the thing is, I don't see him here. Look, right now, in order to ban somebody, for all of you that are watching the screen right now, like for instance, if Madeira is giving trouble, I had to just go right here, you always see it, bam, and then you'll see block user on YouTube, put user in timeout on YouTube, or add to block list in real stream. Block on YouTube is block on YouTube. So it looks like Hayden is just blocked on real stream, which is this chat here he's blocked on. Okay? So in order for he to be blocked on, because I am seeing the disrespectfulness, I getting all the screenshots and the everything and the personal direction he's going in. But I'm not seeing him here to block him, so I'm not seeing that. And I really don't know how to get into the YouTube aspect to block him on the YouTube, because I don't block him on the stream. Okay? So I'll have to find out from one of them directors and them if they could get in onto the YouTube itself, where I could see Hayden Joseph myself to be able to block him. Okay? Right. Snipes, director, go for that quick break and come back. When we come back, more right here on the Ground Report. We'll be back.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most. On air and online. More ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Every morning begins with a story. The headlines you need. The voices you trust. The conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you. Conversations that spark new ideas. Stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
All you ever notice how water is part of everything we do? From singing in the shower, to washing the car, to cooling off after a long day. Here's a friendly reminder from WASA. Before you move, before you relax, before you enjoy the day, pay your WASA bill. It's easy to do. Pay online anytime at wasa.gov.tt. Visit a WASA customer service center. Use the self-service kiosk or pay at authorized partners like Western Union and commercial banks. Water is life, and we're evolving to serve you. Join the evolution. Pay your bill. This message is brought to you by the Water and Sewerage Authority.
Hey guys, need a SIM card on the go? Get a pre-loaded SIM card for as low as $40. Available at any store where you see a Digicel sign outside. Spot the Digicel sign, get a new number preloaded with data and more.
This isn't just radio. This is your voice, your city, your platform.
Who else?
Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
This is Destra. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Nice. We are back. Time check. It's 7:35. Yes. It is about 25 minutes to the hour. To 8 o'clock. And all I need to tell me what platform he on. Which one? Corridor Transformation? Real Media TT? Which one? 648 Television? Which social media platform he's on? You all need to let me know that too. Okay? Nice, let's continue. Oh boy. Good morning, caller. Where are you calling from and what's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning? Good morning, caller.
Yeah.
Yes, caller, we listening?
I'm a so boy.
Where the hell? Kingsley, man. It have been a while. It really have been a while. Wow. What bring you in
I
the
must
neck
say
of the
good
woods
morning.
of the ground report this
Yeah.
morning?
Yes, man. I'm say good morning to you, Long Smith, and good morning to all the listeners on the ground report on 91.1 Talk City. And I must say, well, I listening on the radio here right now as I speak to you. Or I must say good morning again to Trinidad and Tobago. I must say good morning to the Caribbean. I must say good morning to my people in Guyana. Because I've been in Guyana. I've been have friends in Guyana now since I followed the opposition leader in Guyana. So I must say good morning to the people of Guyana. I think the people of Guyana is welcoming us, and it's very trade and business we are going to do very soon, and our economy will be better again. What is what bring me out this morning, Andy, is to see that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago put our citizen first in that CARICOM. She read the Right Act. Nobody do not speak for us. Kamala Persad represent Trinidad and Tobago. And when they listen to our Prime Minister, she put Trinidad first, the people in everything. She never put them last. Her policies by supporting America was protecting Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, people afraid to come into our country. Guns ain't coming in no more. Well, it was hard done. It was hard done have guns in the country already. But since after April 28th, no guns ain't coming in the country. Every single drugs coming in the country, they find it. Our country is doing well. Our country is doing great. Our country is one of the best countries in the Caribbean. Right now, Guyana is shaking. Guyana is shaking right now because our economy is booming again. Don't make nobody fool you and tell them we economy is better than Guyana own. Don't make nobody fool you. If we don't only put God out of our thoughts and select Dr. Stuart Young on April the 28th, our country would have been sanctioned. Our country would have been under serious sanction, tariff after tariff after tariff. Because of Kamala Persad Bissassa, our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is free, have a free reign. But America, we are doing well. We are doing business. We are doing trade. In 10 months, we can see everything. But in the next 4 months and some weeks and some months to go, the people will feel it, they will touch it, and they will taste it, and they will understand that I support the bill. Because you know why? This is a bill. You see, you know why? These nasty PNM Africans and them who say that Kamala passing that bill to come for African children and in the African community will stop lying to the African people. It's African killing African. It's black boy killing black boy. The little boy who died along the bridge here by Piccadilly, it was an African killing. It wasn't an Indian. I asked the question today, do Kufa, Pinal, Barpo have 7 and 6 gang? Wayne, hear me? I'm asking the question again. Do Pinal, Kufa, Shogunas, Barpo has 7 gangs and 6 gang and Rasta City? It have it in Silot. It have it in Lavantil. It have it in Portsmouth South. Most of my care in Kufa and South is maybe for a land and a house and somebody land. That is what. But there's no Indian boy killing Indian boy in Kufa. There's no Indian boy, young Indian boy killing in Shogunas. It's African killing Africans. And why is these high-profile Africans and high-profile MPs Africans who have a narrative that if we blame the East Indians, because these Africans is hyper-fight Africans, who saying
30 seconds again.
Who saying Kamala is going to come in the PNM areas, but is the PNM areas who are the gangs, who are the 7 gangs, who are the 6 gangs, who are the Rasta gangs? It's not in Opoch, it's not in Pinal, it's not in Blackpool. So let us be real as I close and the announcement. Let us be real. All who was against that bill is the ones of them who are encouraging the crime, the ones of them who supporting the crime, the ones of them who do not want this country to be safe again, the ones of them who is lawyers and who is careless in this country. That bill could have saved that young boy there who died there. That bill could have saved that boy who died in Shafford. That bill could have saved that fella who died in Duncan Street, in St. Paul Street, in Silot, in Beetham. That bill could have saved them. But the deceitfulness of these high-profile Africans, these so-called lecturers Africans, who lying is slave catchers and telling the Africans, blame the Chinese, who are we killing? Blame the Indians, who are we killing? Blame the 1% who are killing, but do not blame ourselves. I say shame on you. I want to tell the Prime Minister, you have 90% of this country's support, and thank you yesterday for putting Trinidad first again, making sure that Trinidad and Tobago be heard around the world. I want to thank America, my president, my loving president, Donald J. Trump, and my Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, very good young fella, the next president to be after Trump, who is working closely with our Prime Minister. I want to say, Mark Rubio, I'm hoping to see Trump in Trinidad before the 4 years finish. I thank you very much.
Papa, we are here from he so long, Olean. We had to say an exception. He had to take 1 minute for every word he had to say.
So it's hardly possible we could compensate, but we did our best. You tried to give him a lengthy, I mean, you had to call it super length. It's nice how it is. But of course, you have called there?
We have to take that break now. All right.
Yeah. We have to take the break because we have the Prime Minister's speech to also air. So we go for the break, and when we come back more, it's getting lukewarm in here, but I'm sure that after the Prime Minister's address, it's certainly going to get hot. All right. We go for the break, and when we come back more on this edition of the Ground Report.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news, real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
After Carnival, TNT, the show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly busts. In partnership with Talk City 91.1 FM and TTT Limited, 28th of February at Napa, Port of Spain. Showtime, 8 p.m. sharp. Come see the funniest guys on the planet and the man who took social media by storm, Victor St. Louis, a.k.a. Pelp.
You know, things so hard right now in Trinidad. You know, a store in town, no fire, 2 mannequin.
All his funny friends. Kenneth Sipasa, the greatest story time teller ever. Shaquille, Louis Spider-Man Antoine, Andrew Friday, The Saint.
Okay, me you know, first it's so expensive. I went and priced a plate there. You know, they're telling me $10,000 for a plate. I say, only I know sauces.
And Paniska is back.
Stop it, honey. Don't bring out the dog in me, you know. I better scrape you.
Get those tickets now. Ronnie and Caro, Mascap, Marabal Road, Port of Spain, Bruce Bar, St. Augustine, and islandetickets.com. For ticket hotlines, call 278-5892, 316-0814, 382-9986. Laugh till your belly busts.
The following is the address delivered by Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa SC, at the opening ceremony of the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, on Tuesday, 24th February 2026.
Thank you all very much. There was a time, as we welcome today another female leader, President of Suriname, congratulations. There was a time when it was just two of us. First it was me, and then it was Mia, and then it was Mia, and it was me again. And now it's me again. So thank you all very much as we join with our female leaders at this CARICOM Heads. I just want to give you a short moment of some light relief. I'm not a great comedian, but I'll try. So thank you for your introduction. Mia, you remember, as Ministers of Education, we would go to schools and give speeches, and so we'd get the introductions there. So one school decided they will not use an adult to introduce me. They would use a little boy. He was just 11 plus, just wrote the exam and went into secondary school. So he comes to the mic and he says, I am not going to make any long, boring speech. My job here is to introduce Kamala. So I'm not making that long, boring speech, but here's the person who will make that speech. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Prime Minister Drew, thank you for your hospitality, the warmth that we received here in St. Kitts. And you well know it's not my first visit. I had the pleasure to work here with Mia. We were both young budding lawyers then. We are still budding lawyers, but we did work together here in St. Kitts, and I'm very happy of the warmth we received from you, Prime Minister, and your family, and of course the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Fellow CARICOM heads, dignitaries, distinguished guests, I welcome for the first time to a CARICOM meeting from one Twin Island Republic to another one here, Trinidad and Tobago, Chief Secretary Farley, the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House Assembly. Please welcome him. For the first time, we have a Tobago representative in the CARICOM. So distinguished members all here, and of course, all the visitors who've joined us from the UAE, please welcome Minister Kabi. She's here with her minister. Can we welcome her to St. Kitts? And today, I have to say some things that may be good and kind, but I have to also face the reality of what is happening in my own country, in Trinidad and Tobago. And so I welcome the words of Prime Minister Holness when he spoke of the balanced way that he looked at the CARICOM. We all have different pathways to walk, but our destination, our goal, our aim is the same. It's for a better quality of life for the people in our country and for the whole of the region. So, Prime Minister Holness, we thank you. We were very happy with your words, the balanced approach that you took. And of course, we really admired the resilience of the Jamaican people when you weathered that horrible, devastating storm in Jamaica. We all took notice, and we're really admiring what you've transitioned then and what you're still doing now. So Trinidad and Tobago, today we reaffirm our commitment to remain a vested partner in the work of CARICOM. But I also like to take an opportunity for a short time to speak openly and constructively for the benefit of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. To date, it remains very unsettling to me that in October 2022, the then sitting TNT government coordinated the kidnapping of a Trinidad citizen from another CARICOM state. He was visiting another CARICOM state, and he was kidnapped. Our Supreme Court has ruled that he was kidnapped. He was placed in handcuffs, transported to the airport, and then back to Trinidad. I think an RSS plane was used to transport him. He was kidnapped. And I was opposition
hold 1
leader.
minute, Snipe.
I wrote to the CARICOM secretariat.
Pause 1 minute, Snipe. Nice. Pause 1 minute. This is the right way. He wrote to secretary there, right? Because this is the right way. Only just now. Boom. Right. Bam. Right. She reached right here. So, right here. So the Honorable Prime Minister, I think, reached. Right, because social media have to see the speech.
Balanced way that he looked at the CARICOM.
Nice.
We all have different pathways to walk.
Nice. I just played where the Honorable Prime Minister reached.
We did work together here in St. Kitts, and I'm
very
happy.
Now everybody's seeing her too.
From you, Prime Minister,
and here, you know who on radio.
Your family, and of course the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Fellow CARICOM heads, dignitaries, distinguished guests, I welcome for the first time to a CARICOM meeting from one Twin Island Republic to another one here, Trinidad and Tobago, Chief Secretary Farley, the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House Assembly. Please welcome him. For the first time, we have a Tobago representative in the CARICOM. So distinguished members all here, and of course, all the visitors who've joined us from the UAE, please welcome Minister Kabi. She's here with her minister. Can we welcome her to St. Kitts? And today, I have to say some things that may be good and kind, but I have to also face the reality of what is happening in my own country, in Trinidad and Tobago. And so I welcome the words of Prime Minister Holness when he spoke of the balanced way that he looked at the CARICOM. We all have different pathways to walk, but our destination, our goal, our aim is the same. It's for a better quality of life for the people in our country and for the whole of the region. So, Prime Minister Holness, we thank you. We were very happy with your words, the balanced approach that you took. And of course, we really admired the resilience of the Jamaican people when you weathered that horrible, devastating storm in Jamaica. We all took notice, and we're really admiring what you've transitioned then and what you're still doing now. So Trinidad and Tobago, today we reaffirm our commitment to remain a vested partner in the work of CARICOM. But I also like to take an opportunity for a short time to speak openly and constructively for the benefit of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. To date, it remains very unsettling to me that in October 2022, the then sitting TNT government coordinated the kidnapping of a Trinidad citizen from another CARICOM state. He was visiting another CARICOM state, and he was kidnapped. Our Supreme Court has ruled that he was kidnapped. He was placed in handcuffs, transported to the airport, and then back to Trinidad. I think an RSS plane was used to transport him. He was kidnapped. And then I was opposition leader. I wrote to the CARICOM Secretariat, that's 2022. 2022. I wrote to the Secretariat of the CARICOM asking, what happened? How could you have facilitated kidnapping of a TNT citizen? Please let us know what was happening and how it happened. To date, that was 2022, I have not had a response from the Secretariat. So I say to CARICOM, that response, non-response, it may be the result of poor management, lax accountability, or most concerning, that one ceases to be recognized by the Secretariat as a member citizen of CARICOM when not in government. And so I want to reaffirm that the CARICOM should be the voice for all, not just for the governing parties, not just for those in the Caribbean who form government parties. And so I'd ask you, we have to chart a way forward. Yes, we won our elections. Yes, we are the majority parties, all of us here, all the heads. But we were all in opposition once, and we may all be in opposition again. But we must work together for all of our nations, all our citizens, whether they belong to the governing party or whether they belong to the opposing parties. So that, I say, still concerns me. How one of my citizens was kidnapped in another CARICOM state, and when I inquired, the Secretariat could not give me an answer up to today. That should never happen. CARICOM as an organization should not be misused by anyone to benefit or protect political parties and friends affiliated with the incumbent government. CARICOM governments and their political parties who actively involve themselves in the domestic and political affairs of member states to assist sister or brother parties cannot then expect that when we come together that we must hug up each other. When in the last election gone, you sent your your missives, you sent your people from your party to openly campaign against another political party. I'm sorry I have to share this, but it hurt me a lot when I saw what transpired within the last set of elections in the CARICOM. So CARICOM governments, if we are to hug up each other and cooperate, it cannot be that last week you sent your person down to St. Vincent or to Jamaica or to wherever, or to Guyana. You sent your political persons, not technocrats. You sent them down to campaign. I don't think that is right, because today I will have to face you. We are not red and we are not yellow, we are not blue, we are not green. We are all CARICOM persons, and we must give that respect to every single one. And no leader here sitting would want another CARICOM head of state to send people to campaign in your domain. That should never happen. So that has led to what I say, unneeded factional divisions and private conflicts between regional leaders and political parties. And of course, it hinders the progress of the CARICOM. As we move forward, I congratulate the other speakers before me, and I'm in tune with what you're saying. So I will keep mine down a bit, because we had a great discourse from Prime Minister Holness as former chair. And I want to say, Trinidad and Tobago, like you, sir, we respect the sovereign right of CARICOM members with respect to your choice for national security for your nation and respect to your choice for foreign policy. We respect that sovereignty, and we expect no less from others. We took very careful note of what happened in the CARICOM in 2025, when my government chose to lend support then to the Nicolas Maduro regime. And despite repeated threats against two fellow CARICOM members from Venezuela, most of the CARICOM stood against the two. Only two were threatened. One was Guyana, still under threat. I openly said that if they touch Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago will be there with you and stand with you. And the other was Trinidad and Tobago. We are threatened, and we are still threatened by Venezuela. I'll say a little more about that in a moment. So how could a CARICOM be a zone of peace when a narco-dictator who imprisoned and killed thousands of civilians and opposition members, you will see recently over 300 persons from the opposition in Venezuela have been released. They were in prison because of politics. So how can it be, when that regime was threatening violence to two CARICOM member states, there was no voice from the CARICOM? We were talking about a zone of peace. And in my respectful view, my country is not a zone of peace, and I'll tell you why. Because of the unreliability of the CARICOM in the above situation, TNT Guyana, we cannot bind ourselves to the same political ideologies, the same foreign issues, and the same security policies of the entire CARICOM. That's why I welcome Prime Minister Holness' words, that we have each our own pathway to walk, depending on what is happening in our country. And so, my friends, I say, going forward, we will work with the CARICOM. We were invested in the CARICOM. We've been there from day one, and we want to be there after the end and the beginning and in the end. We want to be there with the CARICOM. It's very vital. I'm a CARICOM child, I lived in Jamaica as Prime Minister. I studied in Jamaica 14 years. I studied there.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. CARICOM cannot function as an organization for sitting governments, while opposition voices and ordinary citizens are denied recourse. This, according to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, as she chastised the regional body for failing to acknowledge or respond to a letter she wrote to the Secretariat in 2022 as the opposition leader. She recalled that it stemmed from the October 2022 kidnapping of a Trinidadian citizen from another CARICOM state. Speaking at CARICOM's 50th meeting of the heads of government in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Prime Minister said the unresolved abduction remains a stain on the region's integrity and a signal that CARICOM may be prioritizing governments over the people it serves.
So I say the CARICOM, that response, non-response, It may be the result of poor management, lax accountability, or most concerning, that one ceases to be recognized by the Secretariat as a member citizen of CARICOM when not in government. And so I want to reaffirm that the CARICOM should be the voice for all, not just for the governing parties, not just for those in the Caribbean who form government parties. And so I'd ask you, we have to march out a way forward.
The minister also noted that alleged cross-border political meddling has created deep fractures within the community.
Cannot then expect that when we come together that we must hug up each other. When in the last election gone, you sent your missives, you sent your people from your party to openly campaign against another political party. I'm sorry I have to share this, but it hurt me a lot when I saw what transpired within the last set of elections in the CARICOM. So CARICOM governments, if we are to hug up each other and cooperate, it cannot be that last week you sent your person down to St. Vincent or to Jamaica or to wherever, or to Guyana. You sent your political persons, not technocrats. You sent them down to campaign.
And one analyst examining the PM's contributions in St. Kitts and Nevis says in a nutshell, Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa is calling for reform within CARICOM. He says her words are urging greater accountability and responsiveness from the regional body. He also says the conversation was long overdue. Speaking on Trinidad and Tobago today, political scientist Dr. Shane Mohammed said the Prime Minister's remarks highlighted a growing need for institutional reform within CARICOM. He pointed to concerns about communication and responsiveness at the Secretariat level.
There's also that concern that she raised with regard to the need for CARICOM to become more accountable, more agile, and she went back to that specific letter of correspondence that she would have written to the SG, the Secretary General of CARICOM, and gotten absolutely no response, which is not what CARICOM is.
Dr. Mohammed said the issue extends beyond a single unanswered letter. He noted the mechanisms once designed to strengthen dialogue across the region have since fallen away, weakening parliamentary engagement within the community.
But the time has come for CARICOM as an institution to sit down and look at itself and make the reforms that is needed to meet the international challenges that we're facing in 2026 and beyond.
Dr. Mohammed said as one of CARICOM's largest financial contributors, Trinidad and Tobago has both the standing and the responsibility to press for change. The Prime Minister has also reaffirmed the country's commitment to regional unity, even as she calls for what she describes as necessary reform. And in some sport now, the West Indies women are looking to bounce back from two close defeats when they take on Sri Lanka in the third and final CG United One-Day International at the National Cricket Stadium in Grenada. Veteran all-rounder Stephanie Taylor says the team's batting has been the main area of concern heading into the series finale. She points out that while batters have been getting starts, they have not been able to see the innings through, something the coaching staff has been emphasizing, particularly for the top five.
Well, I think more in the batting. We had starts from batters, just never really get to finish the game. And I know coach always say, like, once you get a start, especially the top five batters, if you do get a start, you try and, finish the game.
And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From all of us here, have a great day.
This is Desha. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
We head right back to Trinidad and Tobago to the speech of the Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa, Trinidad and Tobago. So let's go back and finish off that speech there by the Honorable Prime Minister.
In Jamaica. I lived in Barbados. My child was born in Barbados. My son is Bajan. Recently he was trying to apply to UE to get into he went to law school. And when he took his Bajan passport, they said, no. You have to come and bring a TT ID card. Sounds like a joking matter, but a serious matter. May you know that. My son is born in Barbados, and of course Trinidad. So I've had that experience of living and working, Jamaica, Barbados, and of course my own country, Trinidad and Tobago. So we will want to have our own foreign issues, policies, defend our sovereignty as we see best. And so I come to the elephant that might be in the room. I come to the USA and the cooperation that we had with the USA. Thanks to President Trump, thanks to Secretary Rubio and the US military, I say thank you today for standing firm against narco-trafficking, human and arms smuggling originated from Venezuela. That is what we were facing in Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe some of you other islands in the Caribbean, your nations do not have that level of illegal migration and, of course, the crime. So in 2024, crime was being treated as a public health gimmick. It was dubbed a public health issue. It's not a public health issue. Because of the crime, you're not alive to get any public health. You're dead. That's what the crime is like. So don't talk to me about a zone of peace when I will tell you, Trinidad and Tobago, 1.4 million people. We recorded 623 murders in 1 year, in 2024. And 40% of those murders, they were gang-related, driven by narcotics, by firearms from smuggling from Venezuela, and gangs coming out of Venezuela and mingling and mixing with gangs in Trinidad. In 2025, change of government, change of policy to treat with the drug cartels and the gangs as violent terrorist organizations. The military action by the American military in the Caribbean caused, you know what happened in our country? Caused our murder rate to decrease by 42%. You know what that meant? There were 257 less murders in TNT. I can say thanks again to President Trump. And thanks again to Secretary Rubio, Marco Rubio. I thank them and the U.S. military for the cooperation and what they shared with us for national security matters. Maybe in your islands you don't have the kind of crime we have. I know Prime Minister Housen, as we tried to pass the Oswald bill in Trinidad, we were not as fortunate as you in the parliament, but I know you have done well with your murder rate. So some of us, the crime is so bad, I cannot depend on just my military, my protective services, and certainly from you in the CARICOM, many of you do not have military or large police services to help us down there. So again, I repeat, you know, in Trinidad there's a saying, who vex lost? But we gained from the help, I'm saying, that military help, and I will welcome them again. So we changed the policy, and we were able to bring those murders down by 42%. As I said, that's 257 less people who would have been dead had we not taken that course of action. So let me finally take this opportunity to sympathize with the government and people of Mexico, as Prime Minister Holness mentioned, with regards to the cartel-fueled mass violence happening there. That could have been Trinidad and Tobago if we did not take the action we did. To partner with the U.S. is not to undermine the Caribbean region, but to defend it. TNT will continue to cooperate with the U.S. in the best interests of our citizens to drive destabilizing and destructive forces out of our country, out of our region, and out of our hemisphere. On the issue of full and free movement, I'll go quickly here, just a few points. I know we are all committed to full and free movement. I know several CARICOM islands are moving forward with that. But in Trinidad and Tobago, again, illegal migration is a big problem. It has been left to flourish not just in TNT but elsewhere. Currently, Trinbagonian taxpayers, we pay the bills for the tens of thousands of illegal migrants who have come into our country. It has put an enormous strain on our health services, government services, financial resources, and we are working diligently to resolve this illegal immigration crisis that we have. Again, many of you may not have it, but Venezuela is just 7 miles away from us, and we're going through right now to try to identify and do a registration exercise because there are thousands of them who are a drain on the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. So at this time, I will say with the greatest respect, Prime Minister Drew, Trinidad and Tobago, we are fully committed in principle to the full and free movement, but we have to deal with the thousands of illegal ones I already have in my country. So I will say, not at this time, but we agree in principle to full and free movement. And then there's the global focus on Cuba, right here at our CARICOM. And let me remind me and us, every single leader in this room was elected by a free and fair democratic election. Everyone in our countries. And so I ask, why do some CARICOM governments and political parties believe that they and their parties and their supporters should have the right to contest democratic elections to choose them as leaders, but the Cuban citizens have no right to free and fair election? And whilst I talk with you, Prime Minister Holness, I empathize with the people, the good people of Cuba, but there's a regime that's a dictatorial one, and none of us want that in our country, not one of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. We were all elected by free and fair elections. And so we cannot advocate for others to live under communism and dictatorship, but we want to live here in our CARICOM region under democracy and capitalism. That's an oxymoron, it's a contradiction. For ourselves, we want free democracy, but tell the Cuban people, okay, we feel sorry for you. It can't work. And as you said, Prime Minister Holness, we have to find a mechanism for the humanitarian efforts of the people of Cuba, but at the same time, we cannot, and I will not, Trinidad and Tobago will not support a dictatorship in Cuba or anywhere else. We will not support it. What we do, we support regular, free and fair democratic elections in a multi-party system. All citizens must have equality before the law. There must be the rule of law. There must be majority rule and minority rights. We must have the separation of powers and the checks and balances. We must have accountability and transparency. We must have freedom of expression and association. And for us in Trinidad and Tobago, we must have capitalism. We will not support dictatorships. I turn to Haiti quite briefly. In Haiti, democracy continues to be under threat. For decades, we have been saying, as Rudder, the Calypsonian Trinidad, he sang, Haiti, I'm sorry, Haiti, we are sorry, and we are still sorry, decades and decades after. Armed gangs, political collapse, food insecurity have converged to overwhelm democracy and create a protracted emergency. We in Trinidad and Tobago, we support the United States and Panama's proposed gang suppression force to subdue violent gangs and to help restore order in Haiti. We are committed to sharing the burden with the U.S. and Panama and other willing countries to assist the gang suppression force in bringing peace to Haiti. We have to come together to help them. In conclusion, I say, I began by reaffirming Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to CARICOM. In that spirit of regional partnership, we warmly invite member states to encourage their nationals to take advantage of the new educational opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. We have established, we are working on it now, we had built it 10 years ago, it was shut down, the South Campus of the UWI. We welcome all students from CARICOM. We want to open it in September in the new academic year. So we welcome CARICOM students to come to us for those additional spaces at the UWI. And in addition, we have reopened the Couva Children's Hospital, and we hope to get some help from the UAE. They're here today. We met with them, our delegates met with them for a full opening of that Couva Children's Hospital, which we open up as well. A state-of-the-art children's hospital we open to all citizens of the CARICOM. Please come. We have a campus. Education is a passport out of poverty. Take advantage of that extra campus, and of course, the spaces and the beds at the Couva Children's Hospital. We look forward to collective coordination and cooperation whenever and wherever our policies and initiatives align with those of the CARICOM. However, as I close, I say TNT will put our national interests first. Our citizens will choose our path forward. And so, let us all move beyond words. I had a joke with some of my staff who were here, the famous NATO, no action, talk only. Let's not continue all the talking, and let's what you did for the theme, beyond words, action today for thriving, sustainable CARICOM. I thank you very much, and may the good Lord continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa. Let's hear it for Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa. Bisesa.
What a speech! What a speech! By the Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. She put water in she mouth. How could we in the CARICOM want free and fair elections but support dictatorship in Cuba? Boy, oh man, oh man, oh man. That little lady, oh boy, a big in spirit. So the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago, the lines are open. The numbers to call 622-4911, 622-491, or 6. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lennox.
Good morning.
I'm looking at the reaction of the crowd in the audience when Kamala Prasad Bisesa finished making his speech. And what she do is she throw mud in plenty people water.
Yeah, boy.
If you look at me, I'm bottling in the front row. She watch. She turn away. She talking to somebody on the side when Kamala talking. These people have no shame. But Kamala lashed them hard. I support Kamala 80% in what she said. I still feel, and this is my opinion, that she have a little fault with Cuba and what the pressure USA put Cuba under since 1959. And with Haiti and the pressure that the European Union, France especially, and America put the Haitians under from time immemorial. Haiti still owing France money from since the slavery days, and France collecting money from Haiti. That could never be right. What going on in Haiti right now is not correct. But it's a result of the pressure they was under, the pressure the people was under in Haiti. So I support she on them things, but with terms of CARICOM, I fully support. Because it's time we have to stop the hypocrisy in CARICOM if we want to go forward together. Thanks.
Thank you very much, caller. Oh boy, the lines are open and invited to each and every one of you. What's on your front burner? Do you have something that you would like to put on the front burner? Or do you support the Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago speech at CARICOM, where it was plain talk, bad manners, and as she said it's a Trinidad slang. Who vex? Loss. Oh, that Trini she there, boy. Well, who vex loss? Morning, caller.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Director Snipes.
Good morning to you, KFC. Let me see, why Lennox always hiding from the pit bull, so? Go ahead, KFC.
Well, I must say good morning to the Honorable Kamala Prasad with she marvelous speech. Who vex loss? She seeking me country for she really rat at. I know she rubber some fellas. Them CARICOM leaders and them, they give them that support. But them was going to follow me for years because we was the food basket at the Caribbean. But we have to bring back we country and see what we people. So I stand with the Honorable Kamala Prasad with the style she take, supporting the United States of America with the drug trade and the drug trafficking in the country, because too much of the black brothers and sisters dying all over. When he paid them out for the last 9 years, they him come out. The Emancipation Committee him come out when people died in the hab, dying down Cockerick, Rima, 4 and 5 people getting gunned down. So the other guys say, you do what you do. We support you on the ground full and jail and continue doing the good work. And then, one more thing, I tell a woman they call Mommy or Granny, what she name is, like she's a Macol.
Nice. Let's continue. And not on that, again, I don't want you say nothing about Granny, nothing about Santa Cruz, and I ain't calling them up to now. Them ain't call about, I ain't hear your name called for the morning. Let's continue. Not on this program at all. And I'm looking for this Aiden, and I ain't finding him. I need to ban that fella. No longer looking for him, but I go find him. I ain't worried. I'll go get him when he on. I had to block him when he on. He must be on. When he here, I go and ban him, he just disappear. If only see him, let me know, you know. And what platform? Real Media TT, Facebook or YouTube? Where only see him? On corridor transformation, only let me know where. If only see him there. Let's continue.
Good morning, Mike, Lennox, and Andy. Lennox, Andy, I know what you want to look my way to answer this. It's just concerning the rest assessment that will be coming up on the 1st of March, I believe. Somebody was asking me, I have some questions on that now. So I don't know if you guys could do some clarification on that. Meaning that I know you have to maybe have to go online on the 1st. Is it to get forms or to fill out forms? Because they ask me, I say, well, I'm not aware of what it is. And if there's other information like what documents they may have to work with and certain things now. So if anyone, Lennox or yourself could, answer that question, that would be nice. Or if, again, if anybody in the different department could come on the program and just elaborate a little more to make people aware now, because the first coming up. So we just wanted to know what it is, what to expect. All right. Thank you. Blessings, everyone.
Good morning, Ground Report, Andy Lennox, Mr. Snipes, and all the listeners. St. Joseph Lady here. I listened to our Prime Minister last night, and I don't necessarily agree with that headline about our Prime Minister bashing anybody. She spoke calmly, confident, with facts, and she laid out her policy. I don't see any bashing there. I guess some sensitive people might feel a how, but that's how it goes when you're a leader. You ought to be able to take as well as give. And yes, she reaffirmed the commitment to CARICOM, as well as saying that in the meantime, yes, everybody wants free travel and whatnot within the region. But in the meantime, we have to fix what is inside our borders first. And we're going through the process of registering the illegal, the undocumented and overstayed people and whatnot. So, I thought her presentation was excellent and very measured and very serious. You all have a good day.
Morning, nobody here. I will leave the cotton picking thing for a second message because I agree with Mr. Dad. It should be secondary. We should deal with actual issues first. So the CARICOM thing and Ms. Bissessar's speech, of course she was being diplomatic about why and how could CARICOM abandon Trinidad and Guyana when facing what was happening in Venezuela. Well, we were talking out here a long time ago. It's about ideology and interests. CARICOM sided with Venezuela because mainly of Petrocaribe. That's free Venezuelan fuel sponsored by China to keep these CARICOM leaders on side. And they do it around the world where this is how they capture small island states in particular, so that they can get votes in the UN and other bodies like CARICOM to get their way and interfere. This is how the Chinese do it. So it was about the interests of those countries. Now, ideologically, there's a link too. A lot of these countries, at least the leaderships, are what I like to call closet communists, right? They are about that stuff, right? And as misguided as it is, right? They try to lead and take their countries down that line surreptitiously. It was happening to Trinidad. And a lot of people in Trinidad didn't even realize it. Again, I would say it. This is what explains Stuart Young to me more than anything else. How could a prime minister change in this country without a general election? Because I believe, my conspiracy theory, the Chinese Communist Party had penetrated and infiltrated the PNM. And this is what explains why we were doing business with Venezuela and allowing Iranian tankers to pass and smuggling Venezuelan fuel and a tanker turnover in Tobago and all of these pieces that is like, how are we doing these things? And you wonder why. And Ms. Prasad keep asking in her speech why and how come. It's very plain, it's very simple. Politics, especially international politics, is about ideology and interest. That's not going away. Politicians try to convince us that it's about love and hate, and we go ahead loving and hating each other down here, while up there, they're engaging in interests. So in the last general election, I told you all choose wisely, because you basically were choosing, it's not PNM and UNC you were choosing anymore. You were choosing between China and the free world. And we chose wisely, I think. And now these spin-offs are going to come. Nobody here again. So now I will very briefly address the cotton picking thing. If you're going to be a racialist, go Google that word with people. Racialist, meaning you make everything about race. There's a very good chance that eventually you'll become a racist, which means you make everything about race and then you start hating people based on that. I call it a gateway drug. Racialism is the gateway drug to racism. And it seems to me that there's a double standard, because even on today's show, we are using a term 1% quite loosely, because when it comes to racialism, not racism, we didn't reach racism yet. When it comes to racialism, it's okay for some people to be racialist, and it's not okay for some. That phrase, cotton picking, I grew up with that phrase. Hearing it on TV, I am sure I heard it on Sesame Street already, and children's program, because it was harmless back then. It is a big problem now, because there are people, there are racialists out there who want to make everything about race to get a leg up on other people, right? And if you keep giving them that opportunity, eventually they're going to become racist. So I stand with Ms. Haddad.
Pleasant good morning, Andy, at the ground report. You know, some people may like Roger Alexander and some people may not like him, huh? But I'm here to defend the brother. What I'm here to do is just present the facts. And the fact of the matter is that he came out from a place where he had the lived experience under national security as a member of the TTPS. That man fought tooth and nail to fight against the scourge of crime. Some may like him, some may not. But when you take a look at his conversation and there are questions asked of him, he could only answer from his lived experience. It come like a labor leader who fighting all these years for equal rights and justice for workers' rights, when asked any questions, when they turn into politicians, they could only answer through their lived experiences. Look at Fitzgerald Heights. His only accomplishment throughout his entire life is being a walking failure and an embarrassment. You see, only and only when you hear the different conversations from people who had lived experiences, then you will find it pretty odd on how they answer questions or how they approach certain situations. And I just want to, bring the facts on the table. Roger Alexander is and will always be going down in history of Trinidad and Tobago as one of the greatest ministers under the Ministry of Homeland Security or National Security in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's a fact. So, like him or not, I don't think we should continue beating up on the poor guy, because the only how you will get that difference in conversation is because it's coming from a person who had a lived experience.
Nice, nice. Oh boy, oh boy. So let me continue there. Let me just continue there. Oh boy. All right. So that, I wonder if that's it there. That's it. That's it for voice. No, it's not it for voice notes yet. Oh boy. So here what I'm going to do, because it's 33 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. So what we're going to do is, because I've seen voice notes from people that already sent voice notes, such as KFC, that called in just now, such as Nobody. I played 2 voice notes for you. Very well. Your voice notes was very good, very good.
And it's just by way of information, we
go
have to close off about 19 minutes too, because that speech will be rebroadcast. All right? So we have very limited time.
Okay then.
Okay, so you have about 7 minutes to thereabout.
Okay then.
So let's see if we can get all the outside inputs, voicemails.
Right. Yeah. Let me finish those voice notes and them then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning to the Honorable Prime Minister. We're looking for likes. We live in an unlikable world. You guys do the good for the people at Trinidad and Tobago, because the last 9 years plus under the PNM, we suffer. Me see them black conscious minds come out and support the just take the boy. That's not for the right thing. I support the Prime Minister full on Trinidad. But as some MPs, boy, Andy, boy, oh gosh. You know, Congress, I start really attacking them. While they're toting all our feelings, I that small fry. That was the worst about my Prime Minister and the making tea. I know in the politics, me know the politics that hold on to the bygone for very long time and let's move with the flow. But sometimes we have to come out and speak up when the scene unjust too, Andy. Then they give me a call now, but you ain't calling me again. I'm calling in and say, me man, says you have on jacket and tie. You forget your brother, when you don't have your tight shirt, you was inside. Bless.
Lennox, you just laugh there, boy. What you gonna say, boy? The man saying I too says I have one. What wrong with you, boy?
Well, you know, he seemed to have a tenaciousness to get under people's skin. And therefore that level of irritation, it seemed to be idiosyncratic or typical of him. So I'm not surprised. But I want to say, however, of course, my comments, I wanted not to hear all of the comments externally. I will reserve my commentary for tomorrow. Because we have limited time. Yes, we just have about 4 more minutes.
We're going to play our next one then. Oh, boy. What I go see? Why didn't play that the next and then program too? Where the hell is this?
Going to play in every program.
That will be a staple in every session.
Oh, but 2 in the gong report.
Every program.
So the gong report so big and it dance? 2 in the gong report slap? Where the hell is this? Let me continue.
Well, nobody here. So just listening to the speech there, I didn't listen to it before. Just listening to the speech there, I am convinced and I am elated that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago just removed this country from CARICOM. It was very diplomatically done. A lot of diplomatic language. And if you couldn't read between the lines, you wouldn't hear it. But it is clear to me that that is what happened. She used terms like she was willing to work with CARICOM. That's to be part of, work with. And she's talking about interests and ideology that, the island states need to, and she's fine with them having their own interests and ideology. But it is akin to Eric Williams saying 1 from 10 leaves naught. You have to read between the lines. But again, I am happy because as far as interests and ideology goes, which is the only thing that politics is really based on, Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the Caribbean that calls themselves CARICOM are on different pages. And I have suggested for some time now that what needs to happen, and I think Ms. Prasad hinted at it too in her speech, is we need to form a bilateral agreement with Guyana.
Andy, good morning again to you and to everybody out there. Andy, I realize that these men who like to disrespect women, they learn it from very young. They learn it from home. That is what they heard in the house. That the absent father, when he does come to visit, he speaks to the mother like that. So they can't help it, right? And then coupled with low testosterone level, that's what they do. They try to bring down women to uplift themselves. But they only succeeded in making fools of themselves. Let them continue. As I said this morning, we will rise. I will rise like air. They can come with all their hatefulness. We will rise. Right? And you know what is sad, Andy? That is what they're teaching. That is what they're teaching their sons and daughters, especially their sons. So can you imagine the kind of male figures that we are going to have in a couple of years' time? Because if they're hearing it from small in the home, and then they're going to take it into the school before they leave primary school, and then they're going to take it into adulthood, they can't help themselves. We really have to pray for them. Thanks, Andy.
Last voice note. It's about 1 minute.
Pleasant morning to the ground report. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith and Mighty Go. Welcome back. I quietly agree with the guy who talked about Roger Alexander. Everybody wants to be down in Alexander's throat, and I feel the man is doing a very good job. Those who kind of envy the man, trying the best and bad talking, they talk about the opposition. Every day they're bad talking Roger Alexander, and the man is doing a good job. The man fight hard from the beginning. He entered the police service, and he do a good job. You have all kind of people in this world. Gerald Hines was a failure and was always a failure in fighting crime. He never fight. He says that is not his job. People have to accept the truth. Don't fight on the government. All they go there to find fault with the new UNC government, who is doing much more than all they, and all they never do what they do. The government all they heart burning, like all they truckload of pepper, all the chest burning. Leave Alexander alone. leave the government or only Prime Minister alone. And I'm tell you something, Larry. What you could say about Alexander, you had to stand up and answer for the charges. You know? You take money to outfit your building, and plus you can't account for the money.
Nice. You go ahead, Niger Step Trinidad and Tobago. After God family comes first. Yes. Be safe on the nations of very roads. Come down next, Mr. X and Stefan Rees. So until tomorrow morning, please God, yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio. We are out of here.
The following is the address delivered by Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa SC, at the opening ceremony of the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, on Tuesday, 24th February 2026.
Thank you all very much. There was a time, as we welcome today another female leader, President of Suriname, congratulations. There was a time when it was just two of us. First it was me, and then it was Mia, and then it was Mia, and it was me again. And now it's me again. So thank you all very much as we join with our female leaders at this CARICOM Heads. I just want to give you a short moment of some light relief. I'm not a great comedian, but I'll try. So thank you for your introduction. Mia, you remember, as Ministers of Education, we would go to schools and give speeches, and so we'd get the introductions there. So one school decided they will not use an adult to introduce me. They would use a little boy. He was just 11 plus, just wrote the exam and went into secondary school. So he comes to the mic and he says, I am not going to make any long, boring speech. My job here is to introduce Kamala. So I'm not making that long, boring speech, but here's the person who will make that speech. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Prime Minister Drew, thank you for your hospitality, the warmth that we received here in St. Kitts. And you well know it's not my first visit. I had the pleasure to work here with Mia. We were both young budding lawyers then. We are still budding lawyers, but we did work together here in St. Kitts, and I'm very happy of the warmth we received from you, Prime Minister, and your family, and of course the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Fellow CARICOM heads, dignitaries, distinguished guests, I welcome for the first time to a CARICOM meeting from one Twin Island Republic to another one here, Trinidad and Tobago, Chief Secretary Farley, the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House Assembly. Please welcome him. For the first time, we have a Tobago representative in the CARICOM. So distinguished members all here, and of course, all the visitors who've joined us from the UAE, please welcome Minister Kabi. She's here with her minister. Can we welcome her to St. Kitts? And today, I have to say some things that may be good and kind, but I have to also face the reality of what is happening in my own country, in Trinidad and Tobago. And so I welcome the words of Prime Minister Holness when he spoke of the balanced way that he looked at the CARICOM. We all have different pathways to walk, but our destination, our goal, our aim is the same. It's for a better quality of life for the people in our country and for the whole of the region. So, Prime Minister Holness, we thank you. We were very happy with your words, the balanced approach that you took. And of course, we really admired the resilience of the Jamaican people when you weathered that horrible, devastating storm in Jamaica. We all took notice, and we're really admiring what you've transitioned then and what you're still doing now. So Trinidad and Tobago, today we reaffirm our commitment to remain a vested partner in the work of CARICOM. But I also like to take an opportunity for a short time to speak openly and constructively for the benefit of all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. To date, it remains very unsettling to me that in October 2022, the then sitting TNT government coordinated the kidnapping of a Trinidad citizen from another CARICOM state. He was visiting another CARICOM state, and he was kidnapped. Our Supreme Court has ruled that he was kidnapped. He was placed in handcuffs, transported to the airport, and then back to Trinidad. I think an RSS plane was used to transport him. He was kidnapped. And then I was opposition leader. I wrote to the CARICOM Secretariat, that's 2022. I wrote to the Secretariat of the CARICOM asking, what happened? How could you have facilitated the kidnapping of a TNT citizen? Please let us know what was happening and how it happened. To date, that was 2022, I have not had a response from the Secretariat. So I say to CARICOM, That response, non-response, it may be the result of poor management, lax accountability, or most concerning, that one ceases to be recognized by the Secretariat as a member citizen of CARICOM when not in government. And so I want to reaffirm that the CARICOM should be the voice for all, not just for the governing parties, not just for those in the Caribbean who form government parties. And so I'd ask you, we have to chart a way forward. Yes, we won our elections. Yes, we are the majority parties, all of us here, all the heads. But we were all in opposition once, and we may all be in opposition again. But we must work together for all of our nations, all our citizens, whether they belong to the governing party or whether they belong to the opposing party. So that, I say, still concerns me. How one of my citizens was kidnapped in another CARICOM state, and when I inquired, the Secretariat could not give me an answer up to today. That should never happen. CARICOM as an organization should not be misused by anyone to benefit or protect political parties and friends affiliated with the incumbent government. CARICOM governments and their political parties who actively involve themselves in the domestic and political affairs of member states to assist sister or brother parties cannot then expect that when we come together that we must hug up each other. When in the last election one, you sent your missives, you sent your people from your party to openly campaign against another political party. I'm sorry I have to share this, but it hurt me a lot when I saw what transpired within the last set of elections in the CARICOM. So CARICOM governments, if we are to hug up each other and cooperate, it cannot be that last week you sent your person down to St. Vincent or to Jamaica or to wherever, or to Guyana. You sent your political persons, not technocrats. You sent them down to campaign. I don't think that is right, because today I will have to face you. We are not red and we are not yellow, we are not blue, we are not green. We are all CARICOM persons, and we must give that respect to every single one. And no leader here sitting would want another CARICOM head of state to send people to campaign in your domain. That should never happen. So that has led to what I say, unneeded factional divisions and private conflicts between regional leaders and political parties. And of course, it hinders the progress of the CARICOM. As we move forward, I congratulate the other speakers before me, and I'm in tune with what you're saying. So I will keep mine down a bit, because we had a great discourse from Prime Minister Holness as former chair. And I want to say, Trinidad and Tobago, like you, sir, we respect the sovereign right of CARICOM members with respect to your choice for national security for your nation and respect to your choice for foreign policy. We respect that sovereignty, and we expect no less from others. We took very careful note of what happened in the CARICOM in 2025 when my government chose to lend support then to the Nicolas Maduro regime. And despite repeated threats against two fellow CARICOM members from Venezuela, most of the CARICOM stood against the two. Only two were threatened. One was Guyana, still under threat. I openly said that if they touch Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago will be there with you and stand with you. And the other was Trinidad and Tobago. We are threatened, and we are still threatened by Venezuela. And I'll say a little more about that in a moment. So how could the CARICOM be a zone of peace when a narco-dictator who imprisoned and killed thousands of civilians and opposition members? You will see recently over 300 persons from the opposition in Venezuela have been released. They were in prison because of politics. So how can it be when that regime was threatening violence to two CARICOM member states, there was no voice from the CARICOM? We were talking about a zone of peace. And in my respectful view, my country is not a zone of peace, and I'll tell you why. Because of the unreliability of the CARICOM in the above situation, TNT Guyana, we cannot bind ourselves to the same political ideologies, the same foreign issues, and the same security policies of the entire CARICOM. That's why I welcome Prime Minister Holness' words, that we have each our own pathway to walk, depending on what is happening in our country. And so, my friends, I say, going forward, we will work with the CARICOM. We were invested in the CARICOM. We've been there from day one, and we want to be there after the end and the beginning and in the end. We want to be there with the CARICOM. It's very vital. I'm a CARICOM child, you know. I lived in Jamaica, as you know, Prime Minister. I studied in Jamaica 14 years. I studied there. I lectured at university in Jamaica. I lived in Barbados. My child was born in Barbados. My son is Bajan. Recently was trying to apply to UE to get into Cuban Law School. And when he took his Bajan passport, they said, no. You have to come and bring a TT ID card. Sounds like a joking matter, but a serious matter. May you know that. My son is born in Barbados and of course Trinidad. So I've had that experience of living and working Jamaica, Barbados, and of course my own country, Trinidad and Tobago. So we will want to have our own foreign issues, policies, defend our sovereignty as we see best. And so I come to the elephant that might be in the room. I come to the USA and the cooperation that we had with the USA. Thanks to President Trump, thanks to Secretary Rubio and the US military. I say thank you today for standing firm against narco trafficking, human and arms smuggling originated from Venezuela. That is what we were facing in Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe some of you other islands in the Caribbean, your nations, do not have that level of illegal migration and, of course, the crime. So in 2024, crime was being treated as a public health gimmick. It was dubbed a public health issue. It's not a public health issue. Because of the crime, you're not alive to get any public health. You're dead. That's what the crime is like. So don't talk to me about a zone of peace when I will tell you, Trinidad and Tobago, 1.4 million people. We recorded 623 murders in 1 year in 2024. And 40% of those murders, they were gang-related, driven by narcotics, by firearms from smuggling from Venezuela, and gangs coming out of Venezuela and mingling and mixing with gangs in Trinidad. In 2025, change of government, change of policy to treat with the drug cartels and the gangs as violent terrorist organizations. The military action by the American military in the Caribbean caused, you know what happened in our country? Caused our murder rate to decrease by 42%. You know what that meant? There were 257 less murders in TNT. I can say thanks again to President Trump. And thanks again to Secretary Marco Rubio. I thank them and the U.S. military for the cooperation and what is shared with us for national security matters. Maybe in your islands you don't have the kind of crime we have. I know Prime Minister Houghton, as we tried to pass the Oswald bill in Trinidad, we were not as fortunate as you in the parliament, but I know you have done well with your murder rate. So some of us, the crime is so bad. I cannot depend on just my military, my protective services, and certainly from you in the CARICOM, many of you do not have military or large police services to help us down there. So again, I repeat, in Trinidad there's a saying, who vexed lost? But we gained from the help, I'm saying, that military help, and I will welcome them again. So we changed the policy, and we were able to bring those murders down by 42%. As I say, that's 257 less people who would have been dead had we not taken that course of action. So let me finally take this opportunity to sympathize with the government and people of Mexico, as Prime Minister Holness mentioned, with regards to the cartel-fueled mass violence happening there. That could have been Trinidad and Tobago if we did not take the action we did. To partner with the U.S. is not to undermine the Caribbean region, but to defend it. TNT will continue to cooperate with the U.S. in the best interests of our citizens to drive destabilizing and destructive forces out of our country, out of our region, and out of our hemisphere. On the issue of full and free movement, I'll go quickly here. Just a few points. I know we are all committed to full and free movement. I know several CARICOM islands are moving forward with that. But in Trinidad and Tobago, again, illegal migration is a big problem. It has been left to flourish not just in TNT but elsewhere. Currently, Trinbagonian taxpayers, we pay the bills for the tens of thousands of illegal migrants who have come into our country. It has put an enormous strain on our health services, government services, financial resources, and we are working diligently to resolve this illegal immigration crisis that we have. Again, many of you may not have it, but Venezuela is just 7 miles away from us, and we're going through right now to try to identify and do a registration exercise because there are thousands of them who are a drain on the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. So at this time, I will say with the greatest respect, Prime Minister Drew, Trinidad and Tobago, we are fully committed in principle to the full and free movement, but we have to deal with the thousands of illegal ones I already have in my country. So I will say not at this time, but we agree in principle to full and free movement. And then there's a global focus on Cuba, right here in our CARICOM. And let me remind me and us, every single leader in this room was elected by a free and fair democratic election. Everyone in our countries. And so I ask, why do some CARICOM governments and political parties believe that they and their parties and their supporters should have the right to contest democratic elections to choose them as leaders, where the Cuban citizens have no right to free and fair election? And whilst I talk with you, Prime Minister Holness, I empathize with the people, the good people of Cuba, but there's a regime that's a dictatorial one, and none of us want that in our country, not one of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. We were all elected by free and fair elections. And so we cannot advocate for others to live under communism and dictatorship, but we want to live here in our CARICOM region under democracy and capitalism. That's an oxymoron, it's a contradiction. For ourselves, we want free democracy, but tell the Cuban people, okay, we feel sorry for you. It can't work. And as you said, Prime Minister Holness, we have to find a mechanism for the humanitarian efforts of the people of Cuba, but at the same time, we cannot, and I will not, Trinidad and Tobago will not support a dictatorship in Cuba or anywhere else. We will not support it. What we do, we support regular, free and fair democratic elections in a multi-party system. All citizens must have equality before the law. There must be the rule of law. There must be majority rule and minority rights. We must have the separation of powers and the checks and balances. We must have accountability and transparency. We must have freedom of expression and association. And for us in Trinidad and Tobago, we must have capitalism. We will not support dictatorships. I turn to Haiti quite briefly. In Haiti, democracy continues to be under threat. For decades, we have been saying, as the custodian Trinidad sang, Haiti, I'm sorry, Haiti, we are sorry, and we are still sorry decades and decades after. Armed gangs, political collapse, food insecurity have converged to overwhelm democracy and create a protracted emergency. We in Trinidad and Tobago, we support the United States and Panama's proposed gang suppression force to subdue violent gangs and to help restore order in Haiti. We are committed to sharing the burden with the US and Panama and other willing countries to assist the gang suppression force in bringing peace to Haiti. We have to come together to help them. In conclusion, I say, I began by reaffirming Trinidad and Tobago's commitment to CARICOM. In that spirit of regional partnership, we warmly invite member states to encourage their nationals to take advantage of the new educational opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. We have established, we are working on it now, we had built it 10 years ago, it was shut down, the South Campus of the UWI. We welcome all students from CARICOM. We want to open it in September in the new academic year. So we welcome CARICOM students to come to us for those additional spaces at the UWI. And in addition, we have reopened the Couva Children's Hospital, and we hope to get some help from the UAE. We're here today, we met with them, our delegates met with them for a full opening of that Couva Children's Hospital, which we open up as well, a state-of-the-art children's hospital we open to all citizens of the CARICOM. Please come. We have a campus, education is a passport out of poverty. Take advantage of that extra campus, and of course, the spaces and the beds at the Couva Children's Hospital. We look forward to collective coordination and cooperation whenever and wherever our policies, initiatives align with those of the CARICOM. However, as I close, I say TNT will put our national interests first. Our citizens will choose our path forward. And so, let us all move beyond words. I had a joke with some of my staff who were here, the famous NATO, no action, talk only. Let's not continue all the talking, and let's what you did for the team, beyond words, action today for thriving.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.